There is a fifth dimension.
A dimension of sound.
Damn it, Frank! We tell him to be quiet. I spilled my hot cup of Uranus again.
A dimension of sight.
Hey, Arch. I'm gonna sock you in the puss.
A dimension of mind.
Nan Adams, is that you?
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
We could watch
All
Sharknado
right.
instead.
What?
We could.
What
We
can we
watch
watch?
where they
Six.
filmed at Universal. We could watch where they filmed at Universal Studios.
Got all 6 of them. We could do a marathon.
Yay.
The fact that there's 6 of them is a problem.
I've
Maybe
never seen
20.
any. I've seen like a few minutes of the first one. I've never
Oh
watched.
God, they're not. Well, you take any Asylum like shark movie, and that's essentially this. Only there's more cameos as you go along.
Oh, they came out. The Asylum came out with the Twisters, by the way.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, a movie literally called The Twisters.
Night of the Twisters.
But
Watch that.
that was a childhood staple of mine.
My wife wanted it. I've never seen it. I've heard of it. She thought it was a real movie. She was like, "I thought this not a big deal?" And I was like, "I don't know. I hear people talk about it, but no, I think it was like straight to video or some shit." She was like, "No, I'm pretty sure
It was
a-"
on ABC Family or some nonsense.
Yeah,
Or
it started up
something
as
like that.
soon as it came on, and it's full frame titles and everything. I
Yeah,
said,
it just
"You
says
thought
Night of
this
the
shit was
Twisters."
real?" I was like, "This is like a fucking Hallmark movie or some shit." Yeah, we watched that whole
Yeah.
thing. That was something.
The Twilight Zone series.
The Fifth
came
Dimension
out.
Twilight Zone
We're
podcast?
having a conversation about.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, if we could get rolling.
Oh my
We
god!
have been
Hi, welcome
rolling.
to the Fifth Dimension podcast. We're back.
You guys don't know my shtick very well right now, do you? You didn't know I was like setting.
You were
setting it up
cooking
to
for
get-
too long. It was getting burnt.
It was getting burnt.
Trip and I had to take it out
Damn,
of the
she
oven
says
and be
she says her
"Listen,
jokes are
man."
getting burnt. Oh my god.
Dude,
No,
you put
Terrible.
pasta.
I'm
You
saying
put
the bit
pasta
was
directly
getting
on the
burnt.
burner and let it do it.
You know what?
like,
You know
burn
what?
down.
You know what?
What? Good. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Fifth Dimension. Hi. Probe 17 from outer space is
We
the
reshuffled.
episode. There was some bombs that went off, and then there was a guy, and he had a lighty, and they were trying to understand each other, and it kind of went like Picard and the one guy that was talking about, leaves under the stars of
Yep.
whatever
he said,
planet. And then they
Nova.
fell in love, and then they were falling in love, and they kept saying words backwards, and then they fell in love, and
Then they
the
boned.
thing ended. Exactly. It was the Garden of Eden, which was apparently how we came to be, and I'm sure many Bible people were pretty pissed off by that. And that's the episode. Where do you guys want to rank it?
Wow. I guess I don't have to be the host
Can we,
anymore. My
can we talk about
God.
the parts that they
Nick,
boned?
I think this episode might be like 20 minutes long.
I mean,
I
it'd
have
be
no-
the
I have no
easiest edit
notes.
I've ever done.
Yay!
You could actually put it's so short, Alex. You could actually make this whole episode your short video,
Hooray!
right?
It's if I had the time or the
Huh?
patience to do it.
What is patience? Is that where you stick a thing up your ass?
I mean,
Man,
Patience may let you do that.
Yeah,
I hear
true.
she's a freak.
oh my God.
Oh God, we're getting the
So,
look from Alex.
anyways, Alex is used to it by now. She's taken the Fifth Dimension pill, and she's just kind of become one of us.
Gobble, gobble.
All one of
One
us.
of us.
Exactly. All right. So
Weeks
Triv's
after,
dying.
weeks after.
So Triv's dying. Jake
Oh,
is
look
doing
at
something with his
Jake.
camera lens. And Alex is in another portion of her house somewhere.
I'm
This is the same-
here, Nick. It's the same.
Yeah,
part
she
of the
moved again.
house.
I was gonna say that a
No.
minute ago.
She actually
She's
had no
moved
window and
locations
stuff.
again. She's on the run.
Yeah.
Oh my
She's in witness
God.
protection or some shit.
Just watch out for a certain woman in a car. She doesn't like hitchhikers,
Right.
right? Anyways, so we're here today to talk another Fifth Dimension episode, another Twilight Zone episode, another Rod Serling written episode, another episode with space, the final frontier.
Take a shot every
Um,
time he says the word episode.
Yeah, another episode with us talking about it. That episode, of course, is season 5, episode 9, called Jacob's favorite title, Probe 7, Over and Out. He loves that title so very, very much. It's what he does every day, over and
Probe
out,
7.
like probing people.
In and out.
Yeah. So, yeah. This episode is directed by Ted Post, written by Rod Serling, production code 2622. November 29th, 1963, air date. Stars Richard Basehart, Antoinette Bauer, Harold Gould, and Barton Heymon. Okay. So last week, I really liked that episode. We ranked it in the 90s or 80s or whatever it was. Today, hey, I like another episode. We're probably gonna rank in the 80s or 90s, depending on how this day goes. So I don't know. Pro 7 over and out was an episode I didn't really expect much going in. It's been a while since I've seen this episode, and the ending, though I hear Pace Magazine wasn't a huge fan of, thought it was a little cheesy. I liked. I really did. I thought it was clever. I thought it was unique, and it was a good twist on the Twilight Zone formula, and that's how I feel. And I'll leave it to you guys to to Custard's revenge this episode or die on the Custard's Hill or whatever that
They don't get that
saying
reference.
is. No, well, no. What's the I meant by the actual saying? What's it? Die on the hill or whatever, Custard's Hill or whatever. What's that saying?
Gonna
Tell me
die.
that, Jay.
Literally, it's just you're gonna die on this hill that you like this episode.
Yes, and you guys are gonna try and take me down from that hill with your
Don't take me down.
apples that
Bruce.
you're gonna throw at me and knock me out
Don't
with.
take me
And
down. Bruce.
exactly. All right, guys, have at it. Tell me why this episode sucks. And, hey,
Well,
by the
before
way,
okay.
we're gonna try not to go an hour. We actually last week went an hour for the opening narration. So at some point, remind me before an hour we do that.
Okay,
No,
okay,
so
but
yeah,
I was
no,
gonna
but-
say, that, we could go on and on about the episode, but I feel like the best way to say what it's about is just to have Jake read the opening narration.
Yeah.
Because that pretty much just gives the premise. And why work harder when we can work smarter?
Yeah.
Look at you.
So
And she drinks one Fanta, and now she's like, "Hey, we're doing the opening
okay.
narration."
I've only had a few sips. I just opened this. I
mean, to
already
be
had
fair,
Red
I'm
Bull
drinking seltzer
earlier,
water, so
Dude, I
yeah,
had like
yeah.
3 beers tonight, so I'm all kinds of loopy.
Mhm.
I could tell. So you're not actually sick, Triv. You're just drunk.
No, I'm sick. I'm coming off of a cold. That's why I needed the booze.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All the
Triv,
booze.
this is actually
booze.
this isn't
Anyway.
this isn't the Fifth Dimension podcast.
She's
This
sick of
is-
all these mid Twilight Zone episodes.
Yeah.
this is
Oh.
Trivial Theater Reckoning.
What?
Ooh.
Damn.
Why do I
Damn,
feel like
son.
why do I feel like this is going to be a very interesting season?
Well, it's already been a pretty interesting season, and we've yet to do black jackets or black leather jackets.
Why do I have a
Black
feeling
Leather
this season's
Pants.
going to be the one I like that nobody else
Watch me
likes?
dance.
Hey, I enjoy the
Black
5th
leather
season
pants.
so far.
Not probably the last 2 episodes you hit.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
God.
Look, okay, it's not a black or
9
white
episodes
thing.
into this, Nick.
Right? It's not a black or
Yeah,
like
white.
that's
we already
halfway
ate.
through or something like that.
It is a okay. I
No.
liked this, but I didn't.
It don't
like
matter
it
if
as
you're
much
black
as
or white.
I know.
Okay.
Anyway, opening narration. Jake, go.
Oh yeah.
I've lost the hosting gig. We're now
Not at
going
all.
by you guys.
No,
In the words of what is it, RuPaul's Drag Race? Don't fuck it up.
I'll give it my all. Opening plot narration.
Ding.
Probe 7 in and out. One Colonel Cook, a traveler in space. He's landed on a remote planet several million miles from his point of departure. He can make an inventory of his plight by just one 360-degree movement of head and eyes. Colonel Cook has been set adrift in an ocean of space in a metal lifeboat that has been scorched and destroyed and will never fly again. He survived the crash, but his ordeal is yet to begin. Now he must give battle to loneliness. Now Colonel Cook must meet the unknown. It's a small planet set deep in space. But for Colonel Cook, it's the Twilight Zone.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Lovely.
So Colonel Cook, he's a colonel. He's a cook, and he makes things. And he helps people. And he gets hit by apples.
I thought it was a rock.
It could have been a rock. I don't know. Who
Who's
knows?
bleeding?
I think this episode's amazing. I think it should be number one in our list.
All right, Mr. Nicholas. So you have established to us, the jury, that you believe this episode is good and that you like it. And it maybe
Mhm.
isn't as middle in the road in the same way that we potentially feel. I'm not super sure because we just started.
Yep.
But because you're the host of the podcast, I think you should share your thoughts first.
Yeah.
I like it. Next.
No, elaborate.
No, no, like I said earlier, I like the fact that though the episode is how should I put this? It's a little bland in the beginning. I think the ending just kind of makes it more interesting because the idea of like, third from the sun and stuff like that, where it subverts your expectations to give you something truly different. That's why I like Monsters Are Due on Maple Street and what the hell's that other? The Howling Man. I think I like these episodes that they make you think one thing and then they completely turn it around and your expectations are completely changed. And it's not necessarily always the best thing in the world. But for instance, here we have a guy who's crash landed on this planet, his planet he comes from, which is never fully explained, which probably already give you some idea of like this is actually Earth that he comes from, is in the middle of a conflict that's going to be undone by a war. And then it leads into him finding this woman, and then it leads into the revelation. And I like the revelation. I just, maybe I'm the kind of person that falls for these types of things, the Moonfall revelation, where it's actually, spoiler, it's actually a alien being or whatever it was.
Love Moonfall.
Of course it is.
Yeah. But I don't know. I really enjoy when it takes my expectations and twists them, and it might not be the most logical of explanations, and it might go into territory of stuff I don't believe in, but I enjoyed none the same. Is that a good explanation? I think.
And there's nothing wrong with liking it. And I, for myself, I don't hate it.
No,
by any
it's just-
stretch.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I'm watching the episode, and the first thing I'm going is, I'm really like enjoying this episode. And then I texted Jacob because I was letting him know just to make sure he watched the right episode, because I almost made that mistake, and everyone else almost made that mistake, or at least Alex almost made that mistake. And I'm like, hey, Jacob, I really like this episode. And then I didn't get a response back. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna be the only one that likes this episode, which I didn't know if that was the real reason, but I'm just like,
I just don't tell how I
Yeah.
feel about it until I get on here.
yeah.
It is true.
I tend to like show my cards too early to people unless I'm waiting. But no, I mean, I don't know. I'm one of those people that just found the episode interesting. And is it the most thought provoking episode? No, but I enjoy it. But I mean, it's probably in the 50s or 60s for me, but that's just how I feel.
He's back shredding.
Now on to you, Alex. How'd you feel about it? Put me under
you
the
gotta
microscope.
you have to
God.
put it on me now.
That's right. Well, you put it on him, so he's got to put it
Nah.
on you.
Oh, we're just all putting it all
True.
on each other.
That's
Wow.
right.
Very true.
Put it
very
on
You're
you.
just putting stuff on people. I see how it is, Triv.
Hold on. While
No, I mean,
work this out.
anyone you guys can go. I'm just joking. You
Hold
guys-
on,
one of you
I
guys can
have
go.
a few words that I like to say.
Sure.
This was an episode. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. I think part of where you're coming from is with I really liked the twist in that revelation towards the end. I think,
Mm.
I think after a certain point, I think, at least for me, you get through a lot of the series where it's you're taken on twists and turns, and it's you're on this thrilling, almost allegorical roller coaster ride with the series, right? Where it's you just don't know what to expect, and there's all these different unique concepts and through lines with different characters, and some stand out to you more than others. And I think at this point, at least from what I can recall from watching season 5, and also from at least from watching this episode, is that I feel like sometimes the twists they make feel a little too cookie cutter. They feel a little too perfectly placed. I guess maybe at least for this episode, it felt more visually. I understood where it was going before it became a little more obvious. And I didn't necessarily hate that. It just didn't stand out to me kind of in the same way that it would for you, where I would put it, I guess, as high and was the 50s or 60s, because I do feel like the Adam and Eve story, at least for me personally, is definitely overused a little bit. So I
Yeah.
think with that in mind, and also being aware of the biblical story for my life, I do think that there's a little bit more room for creativity. And then again, I
Mhm.
feel like with the premise they took as far as it being like nuclear warfare, and it's like, well, there's only like, you as this sole survivor, and like we don't know what's
Mhm.
going on, sort of thing. And like this is a potential dystopian, like the beginning of some
I,
dystopian or utopian sort of
yeah.
arc going on. It's like, and that also isn't the first time we've seen that in the Twilight Zone. Like pretty much like when we got to the halfway point, I immediately remembered the plot of 2, which was like, I think it was episode 1 of season 3. Where, it was a man and a woman, and there was this dystopian situation, and they find each other, and they very much come from 2 different almost worlds, but at least in 2, I think it was more of like, there were some of the soul survivors left on Earth, and there was more so a barrier on language, whereas with here it was like there was sort of that communication barrier on top of them being from like different planets.
This
Um,
almost, I would say that,
yeah.
you know what this episode almost feels like? It almost feels like if we took Third from the Sun and gave you what
Mhm.
happened after they landed on that planet.
Yeah. I
And
thought so
I
too.
yeah, that might be a bad thing for a lot of people, but I don't know. I guess maybe I found the intrigue really interesting, but I think when this is gonna make me sound like sexist or whatever, but when she comes in, it actually kind of falls apart a little bit because it's like, oh, here we have Planet of the Apes situation where the woman doesn't speak English, and it's like, they have to communicate. That is a problem, but that's the reason I would put it lower than what I would usually put it. But I just
Mhm.
that ending just like that. Jesus. But no, I was gonna say that ending is kind of it hooked me in a way that I don't know, wasn't expecting.
Mhm.
That's cool though.
So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't want to take that away from you or anything.
No,
We'll
but
allow it.
that's
Um,
why we have conversations, because you guys can, I'm on that hill about ready to jump. You guys are gonna try to pull me back from it. So
but yeah.
Damn right.
Like I do think you gave a really great point though about how, there was like I wouldn't have known because I personally haven't seen any of the Planet of the Apes movies yet. I will put out there because you know what?
oh, wait
You
till you
know
get to
what,
the fifth
Jake?
one.
Whatever. We've established I haven't watched a lot of shit.
Oh,
And yet I've watched a lot of
Oh
shit. It's fine.
yeah. Oh, wait till you get to like
Um,
battle for the Planet of the Apes and like the escape from underneath the Planet of the Apes and
Stop by your head.
uh,
Don't you speak ill.
I'll let you know when I do. But anyway,
The second one
but I
sucks.
think that
The other
gender
ones are
dynamic that
cool.
you established, I think even in sci-fi in general, I think is a really good point. Like I agree that it could have been a little better, and I do feel like it would have been nice to have them a little more on an equal playing field as far as communication, but I understood why maybe one of them was a little more silent than the other. But I feel like if
I
maybe they were like hypothetically, if they were like 2 sole survivors of Earth, but maybe from different areas, it's like maybe I would have felt a little more like at ease about like the language thing just being kind of off, I guess, if that's like the right way to put it. But because then it's
I
otherwise like he felt very like I felt like he was just very talkative to kind of fill
yeah.
in some of like the dead space like between the 2 of them, but it wasn't like there was sort of like a back and forth too. But then again,
Well,
I'm
I
not
mean,
super
to be fair, this guy is from Zanesville, Ohio, so he is my my area of Ohio.
So at its
Uh,
core, he likes his episode because the man was
yeah,
from Ohio.
exactly.
I see.
No, I'm gonna actually shift this to Jacob real quick. Jacob, the guy has a broken
Yes.
rib. He meets a woman who's named Eve. Did you get the biblical references when he said he had a broken rib and the idea of like
I mean,
what
that
he
was right
gave
before
Eve?
the reveal, but after the reveal,
I mean,
it was kinda like, oh, hey, yeah, he said he's missing a rib, where he's down a rib or whatever, and that was clever, I guess. Yes, I got
so
that.
so I'm guessing you love this episode.
Well,
He loved it so much he
My
broke a rib.
I may break a rib from all my coughing, but that's a different story.
okay. So, yeah, I agree with something Alex said. I don't think she was saying this specifically, but she made the parallel to Planet of the Apes. Then she talked about how Cook was really talkative. That
Nick
was
made
very,
the point about Planet of the Apes in the
Huh?
Jenner. Well,
Oh yeah,
Nick was the
that,
one who made. Yeah, that wasn't me. I
I
won't
thought you
take
said
credit.
something about Planet of the Apes. You said I
Well, no,
hadn't
I
seen
was
it at
adding
all.
on to what he said about it being an interesting point, at least with
Oh yeah.
it applying to science fiction, where it's like the man
Well,
seems to have a little more like leadership in the conversation or that sort of thing versus
yeah.
the female.
Well, if I
Well,
might add something on that front, just real quick, a lot of these science fiction B movie things that came out of this era, anyone that was like the lead captain or anything like that, they all have that same kind of bravado and talkativeness, and that's just the stereotype for that era. Anyway, continue, Jake. Sorry.
well, where I was going when I started listening to Planet of the Apes stuff was, they that's how Charlton Heston in the first and second, but especially the first Planet of the Apes, he's very like there's lots of parts of that movie where he's just like talking. And sometimes
Okay.
he's not talking to anybody, but it works. He makes it work. And even with Nova, who I know you haven't seen Planet of the Apes, she's this mute woman he meets, which is kind of like this chick was practically mute.
Oh, you're
because they didn't
right.
think-
And
He sat
Serling
there,
did Planet of the Apes, didn't he? Like an early
yeah,
treatment.
and he
Yeah,
talks
yeah.
just like
We're connecting things together here,
Charlton.
Sterling.
Yeah, his mannerisms and the way he talks to her are very similar to how Charlton Heston did in Planet of the Apes when he was talking to Nova. Like he's sitting there monologuing, like he's talking to her, but he's really talking to us, saying stuff.
Interesting.
Now Heston had a little bit more bravado about him, and just kind of like this swagger about him that Cook had a little bit of, but yeah, it's very similar in that regard. But anyway, episode.
Oh, real quick, I got something that I just found. So the confusion for Night Call, by the way, comes into the fact that this was the first episode of the series to air since Uncle Simon. 2 weeks earlier, Night Call was to have been shown on November 22nd, but the broadcast was canceled due to the assassination, which we talked about last week. So that's the reason why Night Call, for some reason, pops up as the episode right after Uncle Simon and not this episode.
On Disney, why did I say Disney? On Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
For context.
No, I'm just saying like that. Yeah. No, I'm just saying that's the confusion. Like I had that it was supposed to originally be Night Call before this episode, but anyways, I'm sorry, Jake.
Shows up in order.
The context was for viewers, by the way. I just wanted to establish. Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Jacob. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. So I like space episodes. I like people shipwrecked places by themselves trying to figure it out. I really like those episodes. Like the Lonely wasn't shipwrecked, but that kind of like people in a desolate area trying to figure it out. I enjoy those for whatever reason. And I like the premise of this one when it started and how he's trying to figure out what's going on. Obviously there's something out there and what's happening. And I thought it was very I didn't really relate it to this until after the reveal, but once you find out that you think the whole time he's talking to Earth, because they do an Invaders where they do all these familiar enough things to make you think that this is Earth, but then in the end you find out, it wasn't Earth, it was just an Earth-like place. So that's very Invaders of them, so I appreciated that.
Well, actually, let me ask you this question. So you're saying that it wasn't Earth that they were on? It was a planet they just, because the dirt was called Earth, they just called it Earth just for the hell of it? Or
did they ever say Earth?
Well, when they touch the dirt, when she touches the dirt or he touches it, he's like, it sounds like she says Earth or something like that. So he says Earth, we'll call it Earth. So that's why I thought maybe like you would.
I missed that.
Yeah. No.
The planet, not him. The planet he came from. The guy he was talking to.
Okay.
They led you to believe. They made that and him familiar enough to think that it was like a near future Earth at the time. And I think probably all four of us, unless you've seen the episode before, probably assumed he was from Earth and he was talking to Earth and they're having nuclear war, and that was a big thing at the time. There's been a lot of Twilight Zone episodes that have the whole fear of nuclear destruction, shelter, etc. So all of it seemed very Earth. So then when we found out it wasn't, I was like, oh, that was very Invaders. I like that. That was a little thing they pulled with that too. So I appreciated that. I thought the episode moved along pretty good. It didn't feel like it was 24.
Yes, I got someone on my side. I'm sorry.
It moved at a nice clip. I was never bored.
Yeah.
I think it like gave out enough to keep me interested. I'm gonna say that when I came on here, and this is why I didn't say anything to Nick about it, I really liked the episode. I
Oh,
really
wow.
enjoyed it. I thought
I'm actually generally shocked.
I thought the ending reveal just like happened.
Mhm.
I like how it like wasn't like this build up and then like dun dun dun, like they just said it and just walked off. And I was like, what? Oh, like I like the way that they revealed it. They didn't build up to it. You weren't expecting it when it happened. And because they didn't build up to it, I wasn't expecting that to happen. I never saw that coming. Maybe some people are like, how could you not? But I didn't see that coming. And then he just kind of said it when he goes, my name's Adam. And it kind of like started to creep into my head. And when he said Eve, I was like, what? Are they on Earth? They did a Battlestar Galactica. Are they on Earth? They're on Earth. They're Adam and Eve. And then it ended. And I was like, that was cool. I really like how they rolled the ending out. I thought that was a little bit different than the Twilight Zone sometimes does. How it had its twist, but it didn't make a big deal about it. It just kind of happened.
Well,
and they went on. Now,
mm,
before you say anything, I will say, because
no, I know.
I've been called into, or something came into question as I listened to you guys talk. One of you guys brought up, and then you guys talked about Third from the Sun. Now, I notoriously on this show loved Third from the Sun when I first saw it, and as time went on, and I had to face the fact that do I love Third from the Sun, or do I love Third from the Sun's ending?
Yes.
And I
Yes.
like Third from the Sun. I love Third from the Sun's ending.
There
So
you
then
go.
I had to start questioning, do I like Probe 9 from Outer Space, or do I like Probe 9 from Outer Space's ending? And I think unlike
7. Probe 7.
I know. I think that I do think I like this episode more than Plan 9, as far as like Plan 9. I'm Plan 9.
Plan 9.
Third from the Sun.
From the Sun. Third from the Sun's episode was, I mean, it was fine, but it really was pretty unremarkable until the end. And the end just really made up for it. This one, I actually did like the rest of the episode more than that one. So I do think that this was a better episode than that. And it also had a good ending. So I think that I don't think it's just that I love the ending. I think I did enjoy the episode. Is it like it has a mind-blowing ending twist, but is the episode mind-bending? No, but I did like how they had callbacks. Sometimes Twilight Zone doesn't do that as much. And it's a little cheap, admittedly. Like the whole rib thing and all that. It's cheap, but you feel good. Like when you get to the end, you find out, oh, it's Adam and Eve. He said his rib was broken and he's missing it. And he said this and that. It's cheap shit. I know that, but it's fun. It's like the Sixth Sense when you see that and then you notice like, oh, this and that. You look back at the movie differently. I like when movies do that. I fully acknowledge that it's cheap, but I still like when they do that. It makes you feel like all of a sudden smart and not smart enough to pick up on it the first time, but whatever. And I don't know. I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was good. Is it? I don't think it's number one, but I think maybe it's a man thing because me and Nick liked it and you guys didn't. I don't know, but
The thing is, I did not
did
like
enjoy
it.
it.
I just
Mhm.
it
I get what you're
was
saying.
it like the first up until the break, it was, guy, his rocket crashed, he's, trying to communicate, left all by himself. And then, second half, chick comes along, love at first sight, oh, there's another one, yay, and she's fuckable, awesome, it's
Very
that.
fuckable.
Yeah, I guess as soon as she
thank
showed
you.
up, I kind of got the whole, like, okay, it's gonna go the route of like repopulating the planet or whatever.
Well, I think everybody
appreciate-
thought that.
No. I appreciate what they did with it. I guess and maybe it's because there's been so much media, and especially when you're talking B movies, there have been so many that kind of follow that path. I could appreciate what they did, especially with the rib thing, but I don't know. It felt overdone.
Well, that's a question I got, and you could probably answer it better than me. Was this one of the first that did that? Because there has been a lot of things. I mentioned Battlestar Galactica. It's a little bit more nuanced, but the end of, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert for a 20-year-old show, but the end of Battlestar Galactica is essentially that. They come
They come to Earth.
Yeah, this whole time you think it's been in the future, and then at the end of the show, they come to to Earth when it's like, the friggin' like cavemen, or I don't think it's quite cavemen, but there are people on Earth, but they come and like bring culture to Earth, and that's where our civilization came from. But so kind of, similar
Yeah.
idea. And there's been
It-
other things that have done that whole, like, some advanced civilization came to Earth early on, and we even follow the advanced civilization. Oh, it's actually longer ago, blah, blah, blah. Was this like one of the first ones that did that?
To my
Have they had that
knowledge, I
ability?
mean, and I certainly am not the end all. I'm not a bastion of like all movie history, but to my knowledge, I would say it's probably one of the earlier instances, maybe not the earliest. I mean, Ice Pirates did it, but that was in the 80s. You could even say Star Wars kind of did it, the long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. If you wanted to,
Yeah, but they
not
never,
necessarily Earth specific, but that kind of a thing.
and they kind of like
Um,
tell you that in the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I get that. It was point one that came up. But no, I think like the kind of switcheroo on that particular point, yeah, it probably is one of the early ones.
So I gotta, well, because of that, I gotta, like, if somebody did that twist nowadays, I can still enjoy, because I enjoyed it when Battlestar Galactica did it. A lot of people I know give it shit, but I was like, that was an awesome ending. There's, like I said, there's a lot more nuance in that show and the
Yeah.
ending and the way they did it, but I thought it was a really cool ending. But admittedly, if I saw that now, I'd be like, okay, we've seen this type of ending before. Here, I gotta give it something for being like, original.
Yeah.
It's not
no,
original
absolutely.
now,
Mhm.
but when it came out, I think that was a very original idea, and I can't hold that against it. I gotta actually give it some props for being original at the time.
I would say like I know Nick and I were talking about the Wikipedia page a little bit earlier, but like it did mention that this was a Shaggy God story, and I guess with that sort of coined term, it was by, according to the Wikipedia page about the actual term, it's sort of centered on like explaining biblical concepts with science fiction tropes. And it was coined in 1965 by a writer and critic named Brian W. Aldiss. So it was coined a couple years after the episode aired. But I would say like with, I guess, my interpretation of like how arguably, I guess, overused or sort of known it was, or I guess like popular it kind of was to use biblical concepts and then using sort of modern forms of storytelling to be able to, I guess, make interpretations over it or to share about them. I would say at least if there is a coined term, at least to me, it does seem like Twilight Zone was probably one of the known examples as far as like television when it came to like actually embracing some of those concepts towards sort of the stories they told. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily like new in general. It's hard to remember just how like vast and expansive storytelling has been just throughout humanity, that like if it's something from like the Bible, which was written since like arguably since like, early BC, it's going to be told in various forms and various mediums and interpreted, to where it's arguably like an accurate representation or it's more like interpretive or abstract or like somewhere in the middle. But I would say like as far as it being like this Adam and Eve concept but with science fiction, I could see it potentially being used being used before and around the time this episode came out, to where that critic felt compelled enough to have a coined term to be able to like describe how, sort of, I guess, at least installments of film and television could be categorized in that sort of way. So, but I'd also say too, I didn't want to interrupt you earlier, Jake. But they do mention like the very beginning of the episode that Cook is I forgot how, I believe it's like 3 or so light years away from the sun. Like they kind of have the magic of like how far away they are from the sun in comparison to, I think in The Lonely, they reference how far away they are from Earth, or maybe it could be in the sun. It's been a while since I've seen the episode, but I
That
think
is
with
millions
that
of
and
miles away from Earth. They don't really specify. in
yeah,
this
but I say
episode.
like the way he interpreted it as, okay, we're far away from the sun, so therefore we aren't able to necessarily help you. At least to me, it sounded kind of similar to Third from the Sun, where they came from other planets that maybe were dealing with similar, I don't know, like current events and such that, we may be facing nowadays on Earth. And to be able to see that with more of like, and that outsider lens to be like, hey, like, I hope that while you're on Earth, it's not like this, even though what they're sort of talking about can almost be referencing Earth at the same time. So it can be a little, I know for me, at least, it was like a bit confusing at first, but I was able to be like, oh, okay, I see where they're going with it after not watching this episode for a while. But I don't know. I guess I would say that they hint at this not being Earth, but they don't directly like
Yeah, I get you.
specify that like a planet's name. They're
Well,
not
yeah,
like, I don't
that's what I
know.
liked about it is they drop a lot of hints. I don't think that
Mhm.
they're necessarily hints. They're the good kind of hints. They're hints you don't pick up on until you have this missing piece of information. You have to
Yeah.
have that Rosetta Stone, that key to
Mhm.
understand those hints. And once you do, I feel like watching this episode again, you do a lot of there'd be a lot of things that
Mhm.
conversation between him and mission control or whatever, I think would be a lot more poignant because there's probably a lot of things they're saying that would stand out more now with the information that, hey, that's not Earth, you're on Earth now. And I like those kind of things. Like I think that that's pretty neat. Some like throwaway line has new meaning by the time you get to the end. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I think part of why I was kind of confused too is because there were a couple comments made by Cook that were like, oh, like I'm only seeing darkness, like I'm not seeing like day and night kind of thing. So with like comments like that, it could be like a little fuzzy, but I think it was maybe to just deter
Well,
away from like the reveal of Earth at the end, but I don't know.
that could have been maybe like because it sounded like he had just crashed, and I don't know what the time lapse was between him and this guy talking. But night here lasts 10 hours, give or take. Right? 12 hours, I
Depending
guess,
on depending
technically.
on the time of year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll say 10 hours. Maybe on his planet, they do more rotations. Maybe the day-night cycle is 6 hours. So he's like, oh my God, it's been night forever. Or, something like that. So, I mean, looking at it from the perspective of, oh, he's on Earth. He's coming from Earth. We're like, oh, it must have been night for a long time. But maybe his planet's night cycle is only like a few hours and he's not used to a 10-plus-hour night cycle. So he's just like, I don't think it ever turns to day. And then, 3 days later, 10 hours later, it did or whatever. That's assuming that
I'm always
they're not on a 24-hour day cycle.
I'm always interested by when you watch an episode like this and you're sitting here going, okay, so you're getting all this information and it makes you wonder like how Rod Serling, when he looks at Earth or when he looks at the human civilization, human population, if he looks at it from the microscope of like trying to think of the best way to put this. See, I can't think tonight for some reason. He seems to have like a very angry feel towards human civilization and how he feels that we're just constantly in this cycle of like wanting to destroy ourselves and trying to get away as humanly possible,
Kinda
but we find
pessimistic.
ourselves
I was
very
thinking that too.
pessimistic.
He's very Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good
I thought of that while I was watching it,
yeah.
actually. I was like, man, Rod Serling's kind of a pessimist when it comes to the human race. Not like Neil Blomkamp is, or was, or whatever.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
he's a
but
realist when it comes to it. He understands, like he's a good judge of human nature, both for the good and for the
Yeah.
bad.
what I was saying a minute ago, though, like take for instance, like I think it's Jupiter. Its day cycle is only like 9 or 10 hours or something. So if you're coming from a place where your entire day cycle is only 10 hours and you come to this place where it's 24 hours, it probably seems like it's been night or day for a really, really, really long time. Anyway, maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Nobody else.
That's why we
I
have the
mean,
conversations. I
gonna
mean,
keep
that's not
talking.
bad.
No, it's just interesting because it says he's on a strange planet 4.3 light years from the sun with gravity and atmospheric conditions similar to their home world. It's interesting how like he can break down a planet, break down a society, and still make it feel like we have this other culture that is dealing with the same scenario. So it's like people trying to escape, but they keep getting thrust into the same scenario. And then adding the Adam and Eve thing, which is like we're trying to restart the whole human thing, but the Adam and Eve story goes into the idea of like just Eve eating the apple and getting kicked out and them, living a life of like, whatever. But I don't know. It's interesting how he can just like take it on a microscope and add an Adam Eve story. I don't know if that
Ultimately,
makes
what it
any
all
sense,
boils down to is there's going to be a whole lot of fucking.
but yeah, exactly.
They're repopulating the earth.
Yeah, and by
Right.
four generations in, they're gonna have that. They're like that Prince Charles of, was it Spain? Had like the really funky face and the weird nose and shit.
Well,
The
Because
sausage
they all
fingers.
married each other's sisters and stuff.
it's either that or a sheep. You gotta
True.
pick your evil.
Well, there could always be more like soul survivors from other planets.
Possibly, yeah. That's the hope.
So, there's a little more
Could turn
variety
into
in the picking.
Diversify
Caligula.
the bloodline a little bit.
That is the hope,
The
yeah.
gene pool.
the
When in doubt, have sex with a banana.
With the what?
Jeez.
True.
With a banana.
I don't know what's happening.
I'm
This
looking it up.
podcast is just falling off the rails
My
like hardcore.
God.
Men's health.
Trev, this
Men
isn't
are
the Adam and Eve
masturbating with banana
store.
peels
See?
again. It says in
What?
parentheses again.
Yeah, see? I told you.
See, Trev
What
mistook this
the
ending
hell?
as they're going to the Adam and Eve store
Also true.
online.
Yes.
Oh my God. I recently saw like a short form video of this husband and wife, and the husband didn't tell the wife what Adam and Eve was. And she thought it was like, she was trying to get like a cover for her Bible or something.
Oh,
And
God.
she went in a store and then came out a couple minutes later and then was like, we're getting out of here. This isn't it.
Oh, my
You
God.
can get free shipping.
Well, that's
Well,
good.
we have enough time while Jacob goes down a
Better
rabbit hole thanks to
business.
Trev.
My
The episode, in
God.
essence, is about a man named Adam Cook, who's a colonel for the astronaut corps. He's stuck on this planet. He's broken his arm. He's broken his rib. He has enough food for 7 days. And he basically is in contact with his boss, or his commander, or whatever. But through, unfortunately, like, they're talking about how, oh, well, you only have enough food for this, but we're about ready to destroy each other, war type. And I like how and this is an episode that has, here's a story about war destroying, but it ends up being about, here, the repopulation of Earth and Adam and Eve. And I don't know, I just like that kind of weird juxtaposition of like, we're going to destroy all life and then we're going to reform life into a different entity, and
Yeah.
with a woman from one planet and a man from another planet. I almost said a woman from another planet and a woman from another planet, but
Well, it goes
you
Ian
know what I mean.
Malcolm, the Ian Malcolm thing, life finds a way. Also, Jake's face.
Are you reading the article still?
Yeah. I can't stop. Some people suggest heating it up in a microwave first. This guy, I'll spare you the details. He made a mess, and he didn't realize how much of a mess he was making with his, in his words, meat stick. It was liquefying it.
My God. Jake.
Anyway, let me close that out before the FBI puts me on a list.
If it's in men's health, it doesn't count.
There was videos, but I didn't have the gumption.
So
Anyway, what were we saying?
I gotta ask you guys
know.
this question.
Oh
Do you
my
did you
God.
ever expect the person, or do you ever expect the bush person to be a woman or
A bush
another
person?
human being? Well, no, it's like the person in the bushes, or something in the bushes. Like, what did you guys? At any point, did you not expect it to be like another human being?
He's
Like,
gonna be
did
in
you
the
expect it to
bushes.
be like?
I knew it was either going to be another 100% Earthling, before I knew the twist, Earthling human person that looked just like us, or it was going to be some goofy ass like Star Trek monster.
Mm.
I figured it was probably going to be a person or something else. I don't know. I thought that was going to be the twist as to like what it is on this planet with him.
Mhm.
I was gonna
Is
say
it-
it could have been a Power Rangers villain, like one of those in the costumes, or it could have been a bear.
The
There you
putties.
go.
I
that what
would
they're
have
called?
I would have
Putties?
left either way. I'm like, oh no, a bear.
Oh
An
no, a
alien.
bear.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have taken it the way that the
They could have
episode was
been
kinda
like the
setting-
first two Power Rangers to exist. And
there you go.
there's a whole then it's like from there, the Power Rangers continue to thrive.
The
Absolutely.
Yellow Ranger. He's the Blue Ranger. Pterodactyl.
That was
That's quite strange.
That's if you watch that show, that's what it is. This chicken. I don't know which Power Rangers it is. I just know, like when they change, they like go at the
God.
screen. They're like Triceratops, T-Rex.
see
or
that
whatever.
see that had more like confidence in it.
Well,
the
that's what
other one
they
was
do.
like
But there's the one chick.
Pterodactyl.
how like
There's the
in middle
one
school we're
chick.
trying to be like
She does. She goes.
pterodactyl.
Everybody else is like Triceratops, rhinoceros, dodo bird, whatever, and like this one chick.
Dodo bird.
It may not be the original. It's because there's been like a whole bunch of them. She just goes, holding with it. She goes, pterodactyl.
So what you're saying is you were hoping the screen was Zordon and the woman in the bushes was like the pterodactyl lady from Power Rangers,
Well, she's a
that
teenager
made
with
it-
attitude.
Yeah, tude.
Right.
Get tude.
Mhm.
Honestly, like the way that it's set up, I was assuming like I just had it in my head that it was gonna be something like the Lonely. So either a lady or a robot lady.
A robot. Why did she
Robot-
knock his ass out with a rock though? Why not just say hi?
Because
Because
she
that's
wanted-
how
Women
you...
have to defend themselves in the society, Jacob. You don't
Yes. Oh, yeah.
understand. I can't
He
go
was catcalling
anywhere
her.
without feeling like I have to be on guard
You're
and
threatened.
have anxiety about what's gonna happen.
You're
Okay,
probably feeling very threatened right next to me right now.
I
bet. I'm
am,
sorry.
but
Well,
I'm sure
honestly,
below
I'm
me, so it's like
I'm right. I'm right above your head, Jake. So if you were to do anything dumb, I'd just drop in on you.
Thank you, Triv.
Vulcan neck pinch with my feet.
So what
What
you're
feet? You ain't
saying,
got no feet.
Alex? You have a rock ready to go.
Oh, women always have rocks on hand with them.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Is
you
that right?
since the
Stones.
dawn of
It-
time, it was
We
like,
got
hey,
stones,
to
they got
defend yourself
rocks.
against anybody, and especially men, who tend to maybe act a certain way, you gotta have a
Yeah.
rock.
Yep.
I mean,
And you
did you
have
see
the
what he was
special
doing?
rock. You get
like,
you get a
walking
rock
around.
at a certain point in the same way that like Harry Potter gets his wand. You get the rock chooses you. You don't choose the rock.
Seemed like the rock chose him.
You just carry it around the rest of your life.
'Cause
And
he
it
was just
becomes
walking
handy.
outside like, hello, what's going on? Oh, shit.
You just hear the laughter as he's falling to the ground. He's like, canned laughter. Well, let me ask you this: at what point did this episode, like for you, for Alex and Triv, did this episode kind of start falling apart on you? Was it from the moment go? Was it when the revelation happened? Like, were you
Revelations.
entertained? Were you, as they saying, gladiator? Were you entertained at all by this episode?
I think when he slid down the ship, and it was like,
slid
I
down
think
his
that was
shit?
after the he ate shit. He ate shit sliding
Yeah, yeah.
down from the ship into the dirt.
Mhm.
I believe that was after the commercial break.
Yeah, that would have been
It's
after
when
the
they were
commercial break.
like, he was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna be dead after this. So like, it was nice getting to know you, and best of luck. I can't cope with their loneliness anymore. But I think that's where it kind of lost me. Where I was like, oh brother, we're gonna be alone with this guy like other episodes. I don't know what's gonna happen.
You just wish he had his.
I don't want to
Robbie
be
the Robot
alone with
companion.
another man in the series. Like, come on, let's have a little diversity.
They
here
did.
with who we're following. But it didn't happen yet because it took a few minutes to then be like, the whole Bush thing. And then I was like, okay, what's going on? And then I don't know. I felt like it was kind of slow paced towards the end where I was like, okay, I get it. They're together. That's cool. And then the episode ended. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was just on my merry way onto recording this. So
Number 3.
So it was very Bush League, is what you're saying.
This is a glorious Bush.
Yes.
Well, I have to admit, as
I
much
mean,
as I
it's
like
just
this
dirt
episode,
and bushes.
Yep.
it was like that. It was like that saying in Beverly Hills Cop, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure: dust,
hmm
wind, dude.
And see, it was missing the dude energy.
Right?
I was like,
No,
where
a
A lot
where
of
is the
dude
fun?
energy, I thought.
See, if Bill and Ted just came out of the bush, actually, like I would have been sold. I would have been like, this is the funniest comedy I've ever seen in my life. Look,
But
it
would
was
have been
just like,
better, Bill
but
and Ted or
imagine if it
Shaggy
was
and Scooby
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
coming out of the bush?
Yes.
Yes.
Zoinks!
You guys
We're
are
not playing
coming
Where
out of
did
this.
Shaggy and Scooby come from? No. You got to
It's a
do Bill
Shaggy
and
God
Ted,
story.
but you got to have them be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Adam and Eve? Do you want to come over to our local mall?"
Like Jinkies.
Why'd you like?
You know, you gotta
posture?
have like,
Hey,
you gotta
what's
have.
up, Adam and Eve? What's up, dog?
Oh,
I don't know. I was trying
Alex,
to
I
get into.
expect a short out of this.
I was trying to get into character, Jacob.
I
You
got
don't
you,
understand.
I got you.
I was trying to commit.
You did. You committed. I'm
When
digging
she
it.
commits, I'm
My
like,
inner
I'm just back here
pterodactyl is
going,
coming out of me.
whoa.
No, yeah, but it had to be like Bill and Ted, but then it had to be like, it had to be like Joan of Arc, Abraham Lincoln, like Shakespeare. It had to give like the Bard energy where all these historical figures show up. And then it's like, hey, we're just missing you because this is the beginning
Right.
of time on Earth.
Yeah, you're Adam.
You
We need
know?
to bring you in.
I'm like, you're
Before-
the last pieces to our history project here. Like we gotta include you because God
Well,
bless.
wouldn't they take Eve so she doesn't eat the apple? I mean, I have a question. Is Eve the snake? Because she just like hands the apple to Adam. I'm like,
No,
come
the
on
snake
now.
is
You're tempting.
the snake is a separate
idea-
entity to
I
Adam
think the
and
idea
Eve, but
behind
the
it
snake is the
This is like a
temptation.
realistic approach to
Yeah.
or take. Not realistic. I don't. That can be offensive to some, but
It's historically
a
real world.
grounded.
Yeah.
a grounded
Mhm.
take on.
I
It's
mean-
like it's like the
Yeah.
Batman movie.
They always said that like the aliens are the ones that created us. So I mean, hey, Rod Snow is just ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Why do you think Knowing was created? The movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage.
He
Because
was
he
from
saw
Mars,
Probe
and
7.
she was from Venus.
They met on Earth.
And Bill and Ted were from hell.
Planet. Whoa.
You're just seeing like Skater Girl playing in the background.
Planet.
Right,
Haynes.
right.
He was
Exactly.
a boy. She was a girl.
I saw a movie with a Planet Heinous the other day.
Nice.
Planet Anus from Heinous.
Planet
Heinous
Heinous.
Anus.
It sounds like something out of Freaked.
It's similar. It's called Max Cloud. You might like it
Nice.
actually. It's a pretty fun movie.
Cool.
So, Max Cloud, Heinous from Anus, Bill and Ted, Threat and
I
Life,
think we've hit all the bingo card pieces.
right? No,
Bingo.
I don't know. I find the idea, man, woman, mass hysteria. I find it interesting. I just
Man, woman together.
in the end, I know we're not going to rank this episode. Well, actually, now that Jacob I know likes this episode, we might rank
I
this
will
higher than I thought
fight.
we were going to. But
Round one.
but I mean,
Fight
like
for your right
Fight.
it's,
to
the
party.
episode in general is not really the most like thought provoking of episodes when it comes to how much content, because it's really just a guy stuck on a ship talking to his superiors, gets hit in the face with a rock, finds woman, and the woman basically goes off with him into the wild blue yonder to become Adam and Eve. And
I mean, it's
You know.
thought provoking once you get to the end. Like the end
it is, but
opens
it's
up
like
so many questions or so many like doors for the rest of the episode. It's like all of a sudden, oh, where was he from? Where is she from? If they're Adam and Eve, and this is like a realistic or a grounded version of that, and what these little things that happen, how did they contribute to the stories that we know and how they were made and written? And I think it is thought provoking, but not to the very end. It's more retrospectively thought provoking.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it kind of does the Sixth Sense thing.
Yeah, which I mean, that's what a good twist is supposed. I feel like
Oh yeah.
supposed to make you look back at things differently. Shyamalan. That's a Shyamalan twist where you look back and everything's different now.
But
Some
it's still,
twists don't
I think
have to be
that it
retroactive.
does matter in this story. You do get that sense of things, and it tells an interesting story. It gives, like you said, a grounded kind of take on a classic Bible, the oldest of Bible stories. And
Which
I
I
do
think-
wonder what the reception would have been to this. Because you had a relatively strong, like, oh, Bible is Bible.
Well, funny you say it, because if you notice, I don't remember specifically how I said it, but in the closing narration, he references it, but I feel like that was his way of kind of like distancing himself just a little bit. He's like, "Do you know these people?" He's like, "They seem familiar, don't they?" And he's like, "I'm not saying they're going to Eden, but just two people that met." So he says it could be that, but it could not be. It could just be a coincidence. So I think he kind of left it open enough to say, not ruffling any feathers here, just telling
Right.
a cute little story. But who knows? Back then, probably mad as hell.
Well, and the thing is, you have those same people today. There's just more, you've more than just letter writing campaigns. You've got, social media platforms and all the rest to,
Oh yeah, if this were
vent your
if
spleen
this
or
were
whatever.
created today with Twitter, it'd probably be like, oh, this episode's progressive. Oh, this episode's woke. Oh, the episode's just
I don't. I
it
mean,
has
if it was
no
made just
values.
like it is, but just updated, as long as they didn't, if they kept it just as it stands, I don't think it would be that. I mean, that stuff does exist, but I don't think that's. I don't know if it would catch a lot of shit. I think people are pretty when it comes to okay. You got to understand when religion was like a hot topic like 10, 15 years ago. Not saying people don't still feel it, and I mean if you're deeply disrespectful to someone's beliefs, yeah, they'll get offended. And I mean, I get that.
Mhm.
But I don't feel like this is deeply disrespectful. I think people nowadays, as a whole, when it comes to religion at least, are a little bit more understanding than like in the 60s. But I mean, you're still, if you are trying to offend people, sure, they're going to get up in
Yeah.
arms.
Well, I
I mean,
think
I
part
get
of it
that.
is like, I think as far as, I think regardless of like the religious practice that you believe in or that you embrace as like a part of your life, I guess, I think that there are some people who just believe that entertainment or storytelling in general just shouldn't touch religion. Like, I do know that there is
Yeah.
sort of that consensus out there. Not that everyone believes
It was a
that. I
lot
mean,
stronger some years ago.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Nowadays, yeah,
for
there's always gonna be
sure.
somebody, but some year,
Mhm.
like 10, 15 years ago, definitely it was like, if you're gonna have religion in a movie and you're gonna even slightly question anything, you're gonna
It's like
catch
it
some
better be
wrath.
like the 10 Commandments, kind of like this
Yeah.
is how we're gonna tell it.
You better
But I
bring it back
think,
around.
but I do feel like even in the Twilight Zone before, like the obsolete man is, I think, a great example of an episode that establishes someone who does have like a belief in God, but it's placed with this understanding that that Burgess Meredith's character is very much like retaliating against just following this authoritarian who's telling him what to do, who says you can't be a librarian, and he's being executed ultimately on his beliefs, not just the fact that he believes in a religious figure versus the authoritarian figure necessarily, but I think also just like him more so like wanting to have freedom to be able to express himself and have
Mm-hmm.
like to be able to live the life that he wants to, which doesn't necessarily work with the society that he unfortunately sort of
Which is
succumbed to, I
ironic.
guess. But
It's ironic with that particular story because that's what that was probably the biggest thing originally that this country was founded on was freedom of religion.
mhm. Yeah. But yeah, I know in general with religion it can be like a pretty hot topic, but at least as someone who has had like a semblance of religious background like throughout my life, and like there is a personal relationship to faith that I hold on to, but I'm not ever gonna like push or like pressure anybody into like believing how I want to believe, or like
Alex,
it's like what.
Alex, you know what that is? That's
Hmm?
being normal. That's being a
Yeah,
normal
that's
person.
normal.
Okay, but like
I do think
okay.
that's what
No,
most.
I'm just
That's
saying
not
I'm
Twitter.
just saying what you're saying is normal. Like you can
Well, I
have like that. That's what the funny.
mhm.
You know what happened. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you know what would happen? Rod Serling would be like Lennon or something like that. Or there's a joke in The Simpsons where Lennon comes alive again. But
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I had to throw a Simpsons reference. Anyways,
Okay.
there'd be
Absolutely.
a joke. There'd be a thing where Rod Serling is reawoken in
Uh-huh.
2024. He
Uh-huh.
gets up, he looks around, he said, "Nope." He goes right back to the grave. because of how much he's like the Nostradamus of the TV era. He just predicted all this shit. It's like, throwing people into the idea of Adam and Eve and the idea of like, this shelter. It's like all this stuff. He's like, I died creating like a TV show that had a lot of purpose and meaning. Have we learned anything? Nope. All right, I'm just gonna go back to my grave and be
I'd
done
like
with
to
it.
think if he popped out nowadays, just out of nowhere, like time travel, he'd like respond to all this stuff a lot like Beavis and Butthead did in the new Beavis and Butthead movie
I'd be game for that.
when they went to the
when
college.
they're in the classroom or whatever. Was it the classroom or the kitchen? They're like white
It was a
privilege.
college, and they went to like the cafeteria and the classroom and stuff. Good shit.
Anyways,
what
back
I was gonna say or add on to that is
your
that
normal
it's like
your normal talk. Yes.
okay, but like I just want to say to add on to what I was saying before I got interrupted with pop culture references is
Outdated pop
I don't
culture references. Thank you very much.
Okay, for sure. I didn't want to be judgmental over it, no hate. But I don't know. I don't ever try to feel like I do feel like there are some people who very much want very similar people around them. But I've always really enjoyed being able to like get to know and meet people who come up from a variety of backgrounds, or like it doesn't matter necessarily like who they are or what they believe in, but then it's like, I still feel like, oh yeah, we can be besties potentially if it works out and everything, which is I think is a good way.
90s.
I think is a good way to live your life, but live your best life. But I guess I would also say, at least with the Twilight Zone, it's like I don't, as much as I understand where that like Rod Serling joke sort of comes from, I'd like to think that like, I don't know, if Rod Serling was resurrected, I guess, which is pretty much coming back to life. Resurrection's a whole other topic. I'd like to feel like he aware of sort of the legacy and impact that he's had through like the purpose and meaning that he's presented, at least through the Twilight Zone and also through his other projects. Because the Twilight Zone wasn't all that he did. At least that's where I'm sort of coming from.
I genuinely think he'd be pissed off right now. I think he'd be like, I did all this work to try to make people understand that you have to be better than yourself. You have to improve upon yourself. You have to not take all these trivial and not have to take all these ideas of hate and bigotry and stuff like that. And he looks at 2024 and he's just like, what the fuck's the point? Like it's just like he even says, like, when you listen to his interviews and stuff like that, he talks about how these very central things about how people seem to be in this central hell of cycle of the same thing over and over and over, and we had to find a way to be better and a way to be more improved and be more culturally relevant and culturally respectful. And here we are in 2024 arguing about the same shit that we were arguing about in the 1960s, and it feels like everything we do, and I'm not trying to get into like a political ideology matter, but it's like it's such a shame that Rod Serling can create a show that's so impactful, and we joke all the time on this podcast because it's fun to do, but when he's doing an episode like this, is probably not the most ideological episode ever. I mean, he's using the idea of Adam and Eve to justify his storytelling elements. But when you get into like the Monster doing Maple Street or the Invaders or Eye of the Beholder, and here we are still dealing with the same shit. It's very weird and kind of morose, to be honest.
Honestly, I understand where you're coming from with it, but I think that above everything else, like Rod Serling saw what the world was. He wasn't, rose tinted glasses about it. I think that he knew what the world was. He only lived into his 50s, right?
Yeah,
60s,
something like that.
50s?
Yeah.
But he knew the world. He was out and about during the war. He went to college. He saw Hollywood. He wasn't in a nut. He wasn't in a bubble of any kind. I think he understood humanity, and he did and this is tangenty, I apologize. He did a take on A Christmas Carol called Carol for Another Christmas, and it would have been a great ending for what the Twilight Zone was, but it ended up being something that he wrote and someone else directed it. And it was kind of talking about like it took the story of the Christmas Carol and did its own thing with it. And looking back at it, we can say, "Oh my God, this was so impactful. It was so like well done and all this stuff." But you look at it at the time, and it's considered to be kind of just overdone, overwrought. People had had enough of it at that point. And I guess timing is everything on that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think you can look at this and Rod Serling wrote this amazing set of episodes and stuff, and they endure because they stand the test of time. But at the time, I think people too didn't have the insight, or like any TV show, it gets
But
more
Trev,
impactful
I
with
get
time.
that and all, but like, like you can say that, but it's the same thing over and over and over. It's like, we have that insight. We didn't have that insight then, but we don't have that insight now. It's like,
Right, but you can be well
that's why
learned
these
the way
episodes.
Rod's. No, I understand,
Mhm.
but I would also.
Well, no, I'm
add
not
to
trying
that.
to disagree. I'm
No,
not trying
no,
to say
no,
you're
I know
wrong.
you're
I'm just
not.
saying, like, it just so that's why I think we love this series so much, because everything outside of the crazy jokes and wacky stuff we talk about, the episodes ring true because they're very much prevalent in what we talk about in this day
Right.
and age. And I feel like we just don't learn our lesson. And
We don't. We
I would
absolutely
say
don't.
I would say too
Yeah.
regarding learning lessons, and
Mhm.
maybe this is just my, I guess, introspection on, I guess, turning 25 recently and like having a mental breakdown about that, which is a whole other conversation. But
It's
I would
okay. It
say,
happens to the best of us.
Then
yeah,
wait till
but
you
I
turn
would
40.
say, I would say as far as your point about like learning lessons, like
Mhm.
I think what's I think valuable to, I guess, learn in life is that you're not just going to learn the same. You're not just going to learn one lesson one time. Like it's never going to be a one and done thing. Like I think it's always important to be able to always learn and grow as a person. And on top of that, I think there's also value in being able to learn the same lessons that you may have already
Mhm.
learned or maybe are reminded
Well,
of in some sort of way. So it's
yeah.
so I understand where you're coming from too, as far as like, I guess
Well,
like
that's why I
the
think this
pessimism aspect
series.
of it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, yeah.
But
I was
well, I was
just
gonna. Oh, sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
no. I keep interrupting. I apologize. I was just gonna say
Mm.
that's why I think the series should be kind of taught in schools, because it does
Mhm.
definitely it leans into stuff like that's really important to human being as a
Mhm.
person we
I
are.
learned
But
about
I'm
the
sorry.
Twilight Zone actually in one of my
That
classes.
yeah,
Oh,
Like
cool.
that was
exactly.
the
It should
way I
be
was
yeah.
like Monsters I Do on Maple Street was like the episode I was exposed to just in
Nice.
an academic setting, and it's like, that was just from like a USC course I took where it was like required, but it had more of like a sci-fi horror angle to it, where it was like one of those English writing courses that like I had to take. Um, but yeah, like that was what ultimately exposed me to like the Twilight Zone. I remember, I think that course I watched Monsters Don't Do on Maple Street, It's a Good Life, and then Owl Creek Ridge. And like that's where I learned about the short story, and like that's why I was kind of mentioning it along with the episode, is because I like read the short story and had to compare it and everything. But I was gonna say too, like what you were saying about like sort of like the pessimism versus optimism, and sort of even the divisiveness of that just in, kind of the world around us. It definitely reminded me of Tomorrowland, the 2015 film that was directed by Brad
Mm,
Bird. It's
mm,
definitely one of so but I'd say like among Disney's live action catalog, I believe that Tomorrowland is pretty underrated because it was released in the midst of like Disney like just starting to make more adaptations based on like stuff pertaining to like their theme parks, and then it was also when a lot of those like live action reimaginings were coming out. But I
So right
do
around
feel
the
like
time
in
Disney was
part,
going to shit.
well, at least with the live action stuff, it just didn't seem like there was a lot of like original concepts coming out. But I feel like the way they took Tomorrowland has always
Different
stood out to
metaphor.
me since I watched it, was because it pretty much is like centered on like this Native American story around two wolves, where you can either sort of feed it's kind of that story of like either feeding the wolf with dark and despair or light and hope, basically. And that's pretty much paralleled with like the two main characters. And then the character who ultimately sort of gravitates towards that light and hope is the one who, in the end, helps like restore the Tomorrowland land, which originally was like thriving off of like innovation and change and inviting all these kinds of people to be able to cultivate that, but then it became a bit dystopian, but then it became more of that utopia that it used to be, and I think the reason why that film is like stood out to me, at least with it also being science fiction, is because it took that angle of obviously consuming both like positive and negative is very inevitable in life, but I think it's just all about how you look at that approach with either, as far as like whether it's consuming media or even how I guess you speak about yourself, or how you look around at like things, I guess, in the world, like in your perspective. I guess it's like you could, like, there is always going to be both, but you can always sort of choose to be like, hey, like I just like, like I am happier, like I am looking at this glass half full, even though the other way around would be looking at it half empty. So I think there's always, I guess, that outlook that even in an episode like this can definitely spotlight, even for it being, at least to me, very much, like a good, like solid, like Twilight Zone episode as far as like what had preceded it. But, I think it's just kind of important, at least with kind of looking at it, is like, I think it can very much be spotlighted through this episode where, these two people come from pretty much annihilated worlds, but in a way they can turn that negative ultimately in that isolation into more of, I guess, a positive, where it does have a little more of that like happy, optimistic ending that I think in some episodes we've seen have had more of like a negative resolution. But I think, at least in this one, it was nice to be able to see one that had sort of a positive end note for like what the future could be in store for like the Adam and Eve in this case.
As a famous person once said, the future is what you make it.
Absolutely.
I almost said
Well-
Hannah Montana, but
And then they did this.
But then I remember the song was "Life's What You Make It."
And then everybody
Oh.
cheered.
It's dust in the wind.
Yeah.
dude.
In the wind, dude.
Oh, you should have done Face Off.
It's been a while since
Um,
I've seen those movies. I would have tried to do a quote otherwise, but
No, but I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like it's
Thank you
interesting to see.
for coming to my TED talk. That was 3 minutes long.
See, we have Jacob's weird rabbit hole corner, Triv's starting that weird rabbit hole corner, me trying to not take an hour for the opening narration, and Alex's TED Talks. We now have segments in our podcast, damn it. It took only
Oh,
129
no.
episodes. We finally have them. Anyways,
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, the big reveal is that Adam and Eve, God created. I mean, God didn't create Adam and Eve in this version. They just kind of came from other planets. They have a connection, because they're both attractive people. That's just how this world works.
They're
She
really,
apparently
really,
likes-
really good looking.
Yeah, exactly. She has sepulas. She's offering her sepula, which means
She has
apple.
syphilis?
Cephалus. She has
Oh, I
syphilis.
thought you said she has syphilis. Like, how do you know?
No, I'm changing Jacob's thing for each episode is misreading what I say, because I apparently can't talk. So it's like, what was last week's word that you thought I said? I can't remember what it was, but
Penis.
It was
this
either
week
that or
he's a-
snuffleupagus, so.
stuff along with this. But once again, she hands him the forbidden fruit, the apple, which has been said to like cast them out and become human when they leave the Garden of Eden or whatever, kicked out. Like in The Simpsons when they are kicked out, when Ned just kicks them out, like booting them. Yeah, that's pretty much the episode. The number, as Triv said, there's really not much to talk about with this episode outside of the ending. People causing strife and committing war acts, and guy breaks his rib and arm and finds attractive woman, and they go and have attractive babies. And
Was there any religious context to that? I know the rib.
I was thinking the 7
Um,
days thing, the food enough for 7 days was probably significant of like the
that's a good
creation of
point.
Earth over the course of 7 days.
Mm.
And of course, the Rock is clearly in the book of like Steve or something like that. in the days of astronaut Cook, the rocket shall cometh forth and create the heavens, and
So this is what gets people mad at us.
that's fine. I get. I'm an atheist.
Listen,
so I
if you
don't-
want
I
the
don't really
actual
care.
source, just go to the Book of Genesis. It's
Exactly.
there. The story's there, and you
I'm
can
gonna
follow along for
create the
yourself.
Book of Steve. Create my own Bible with
Book of
rockets and
The Book of Mormon.
broken arms. You know what? Forget the rocket. Actually, I think
I mean,
there's
you
a
can just
movie
create
called
your own
Dallas Eve.
religion if you want, you know.
If they can create the Jedi religion,
not
I
that's,
think
not
I
that
create
that's like how I guess that works, but I don't
create the
know.
Rod Serling religion.
Create the Steve religion.
There you
Steve
go.
religion.
I mean, there's
Steve.
the flying
Minecraft.
spaghetti monster religion,
Yeah.
so you know.
Steve Christ.
Steve from Minecraft.
It sounds like a character in the Book of Mormon.
Steve, damn it.
Steve Christ. Steve. Anyways,
Steve.
Steve. No. Anything else you guys want to talk about with this episode? Anything you want to bring up? I know Triv. You say you don't have a lot to say, but anything
I
you want to talk
really
about?
don't. No, I think everything has been said pretty much cleaner
mean,
than what I
did you
could
break-
say it.
Did you break a rib in this episode from
No,
coughing so much?
I did not. Plus, that would be weird because I'm not Adam.
You didn't
Crazy.
give anybody your forbidden fruit.
No, definitely
That
not
sounds
in
real-
this episode.
So it's so weird when they say forbidden fruit because it sounds so wrong. She handed
That's
the
why
fruit-
it
her
sounds
forbid-
wrong.
Yeah,
It's forbidden.
yeah, exactly.
Gotta stay away from the what is it? The melons and the bananas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stay away from the bananas. Adam.
Especially the bananas. Those
Put the bananas down, Adam.
Nah. If you see bananas, you run. You don't walk. You run.
You want some of this banana? No, Adam. God damn it. Put the fucking banana down.
What else is new?
Alex, did you have anything else more you want to talk about? Jacob, anything else more?
Closing narration.
Oh my god!
Mhm.
This
You want my
episode's gonna be like
segue?
20 minutes long.
It's a dope
All
segue.
right, closing
away.
narration. It is.
Do you know these people? Names familiar, are they? They lived a long time ago. Perhaps they're part fable. Perhaps they're part fantasy. And perhaps the place they're walking to now is not really called Eden. We offer it only as presumption. This has been Twilight Zone.
Party time! Excellent!
Flashback.
Dude, let's do the Scooby Doo ending.
Mr. Serling, what are
Fish
you doing
face.
here?
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you gosh darn kids.
Zoinks.
Let's do the super happy ending.
The fish face.
Fish face! Hey Nick.
Oh my
Hey
god.
Nick. Hey,
Yes.
hey Nick.
Mhm.
A sphincter
Hey, Nick.
says what?
I'm sorry. Were you talking?
Aw.
Yeah. A sphincter says
Oh.
what?
If he says what, he's a sphincter.
Did you know Twilight Zone historian Mark Scott Zicree recorded a commentary track with director Ted Post discussing this episode? The commentary appears on part of the 2016 Blu-ray edition.
I did not know that.
Wow.
I
It didn't
no
even say
idea.
that in his book. All it
No
said in his
idea.
book
Oh.
is that the
About it.
Adam and Eve but make it sci-fi thing was overused.
G.I.
And,
Joe.
like that's legit all it said. It was just his opinion. And I was
Did you know
like,
Ted Post is
I was
dead?
like, go off, game.
Oh, wait, hey, whoa. Oh, we have a Planet of the Apes. Ted Post directed Beneath the Planet of the Apes and Magnum Force and Hang 'em
Those
High.
goats.
How many of the apes are there?
There's
Planet
many
full.
Apes movies.
A whole planet.
There's like a TV series too.
There is a TV series and an
Good
animated TV
God.
series.
The apes are
And there's like three. There's like four
They
updated
chronicle
movies
the
too.
whole thing.
Yep.
Wow.
There's like
If
a
you
kid
watch it, you gotta
movie
gotta
too,
watch
isn't
the
there?
original '60s Planet of the Apes. They're great. The second one kind of sucks.
Well, I know that I heard of the newer ones being good.
The
Didn't
new
they
ones
just
are
come
all
out with
good.
the
Yeah.
what was it? The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, even the
Yes.
newest new one that's like it doesn't
Way too
specifically
long.
say it's like 100 or so years later or something. It's a couple generations later after the new trilogy. The new trilogy is really good. The new one, it's good too. It has some callbacks to the original movie. It's not like
as good as the not original, but the 2014 or whatever it was, the modern trilogy. But
Mhm.
it
Can I
fits in
can I
there
make a
with those.
confession?
No,
Can we do confession time?
no.
But the originals are.
How have you sinned?
I'm not a
Tell
fan
me
of the
something.
Planet of the Apes original movies.
You what?
Um, I'm not a fan.
Oh
It insists upon
my
itself.
Oh my
I've never been a fan
God.
of the original Planet of the
So
Apes
just
movie.
mute him. The original Planet of the Apes is just it's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
I think it's
The
long
second
and
movie
tedious.
is like I've got to watch this to get to the third one.
Wasn't
It's
the
not
second
that
one
good.
like it's the same? It's literally the
Beneath.
same movie.
No,
Yeah.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Charlton Heston's only in it for like the beginning and the very end because he didn't want to do it. And
Yeah.
it's with the telepathic
Fair enough.
missile people. It's the second one's not good. The third one shouldn't be good. The premise is so ridiculous, but it's so good. They go back in time.
Is this a Superman situation where like the third one's not that bad?
No, like the
It
third
should
Planet
be
of the
that.
Apes actually is not a bad movie, but the premise, if I explain it to you, that Cornelius and the two apes, the two main apes, go back in time to present day at the time, which was this early 70s, and become like sensations, and they're on the news and everything. And they're like all out like shopping at Macy's and everything, and like they have their son while they're there, and then the government wants their. But that's the premise. They go back in time. It sounds ridiculous, but it's really good. And that
They don't
sets
go
up.
back
That's how
to
they.
the future.
Yep. 88
Lame.
Well,
miles
they
per
go back
hour.
to the past because Planet of the Apes is in the future. So
You know, it's
the way the trilogy, the way the five movies go is you have Planet of the Apes and Beneath, which are way in the future after humans are not a thing anymore, and the planet is Planet of the Apes, and then they do essentially a prequel, but they fit it in with time travel. And after that one, you have the beginning of the fall of man. It starts at that timeline and just goes forward to meet up with the first movie. So it shows how the apes took over the planet over the course of the next two movies.
It's crazy that the director of Planet of the Apes directed Patton, Papillon, The Boys of Brazil, Lionheart.
The original Planet of the Apes is excellent. Now, I mean, all the ones that come
Patton.
after it, I enjoy them, but they're not as good as the first. But they are an enjoyable watch. The second one's tough, but besides the second one, the other three are actually pretty fun. And then the new movies are really good.
The
They're
only
kind
one
of
I
a
would
different take, but they're
actively
good.
avoid is the 2001 Tim Burton.
That one's fucking
Mm.
terrible.
Yeah.
Like
I like that one.
wanted that movie to be so good. I wanted it to be a legit.
Nick, your taste is
remake.
just something else.
Yeah, that's one word for it. But I wanted it. I wanted
It's
that.
coming from
it
the
was-
people that try to calm me into liking Remo Williams.
Anyway, Planet of the Apes being remade by Tim Burton with practical effects sounded amazing, but it wasn't a
did.
remake. First of all, it just wasn't a very well made movie. It looked great, but also they didn't remake the story. They, what did they call it? Reimagined. But their imagination's not good. The ending was so fucking stupid. It makes no sense whatsoever. They just tried to do a callback to the original movie and have like a bigger and better one, and it didn't make any fucking sense.
I would add that every single female ape or monkey or, member of that family had Karen hair.
And they were really horny for Mark Wahlberg.
Yes. I mean, at the time,
I mean-
everybody was.
I mean, he
horny
was
for
Marky
Marky
Mark
Mark.
at the time, so I can
Yeah.
understand
They
that.
found
but-
all other humans disgusting, but when it came to him, they were like, ooh, ooh, ooh. It was like really Howard the Duck weird. They had like monkey boobs and stuff. It's kind of weird.
Definitely giving like Ninja Turtles kind of.
Yeah, the girl Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
She was
Venus.
weird. Really weird.
You know, you just
Mount
had to
Venus.
distinguish. You had to distinguish which one was the girl one.
Yeah.
How else? Am I right, Triff?
Exactly.
Now the new Planet of the Apes movies are probably more believable. They're done like in a more realistic way.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually like monk or apes. The old one's people with ape masks and hands. But it's the 60s. You got to kind of give it a little bit. You're like, I mean, it's the 60s. They didn't have Andy
Exactly.
Serkis.
You know what they did in the 60s? They ranked shit. They ranked it all the time, people. Ranked it like
Yay.
Adam and Eve.
I
Ranked
just
the
ranked
apples.
everything in the 60s.
Oh, I know
Tied to the
exactly where I
radiator
want
and
this
rank it
episode.
over and
I know exactly what I want.
rank it,
where I
rank it,
want
rank it.
Speaking of, The
rank
Twilight Zone
shit out of
ranking
this.
list. The Twilight Zone ranking list, the greatest ranking list ever known by man, is the thing I would say if I knew that this episode was not going to be in the top 20. Okay, so where do you guys want this episode? Clearly, this is going to be a
Where
contentious
do you
pick
want this
because
episode?
It should be 69.
I want it.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to go there. Jacob's like, "Yep, I'm good with that."
Oh, guys,
give it
I
16.
don't have the list because my computer shut down on me. Could someone?
True. Hold on a second.
I'm
I'll send it
sorry.
to you on Twitter just so you can.
Yay!
Listen,
Sorry to
you
be a
got
pain.
Adam and Eve. You have a man and a woman. We said it was the middle of the road, but then people also really liked it.
Yeah, but this was
I never
before
said it
Jacob
was
said it
middle
was
of
So
the road.
good.
like,
This is before Jacob said I love this episode. So
no,
I think we're gonna have to go in the top
nuh-uh.
30
No,
here.
no. Top
No.
30.
No,
Okay,
Always make
fine.
it, like,
Top 20.
fine.
Always
I'm
make
putting
it-
it down by a piano in.
The
The
house?
house.
In all realistic,
I need
I'm
a good breath
looking.
that time.
See, I don't know when you say that, Jacob. If you're actually like holding your breath while doing it, or you're just doing it silently. That's the mystery of the
The world may
I'm
never
doing it.
know.
I learned how to do that in singing class, whatever they called it.
Choir.
Music
Ooh.
class.
Yeah, music. Well, it was in theater. I took a lot of theater classes too, and did a lot
That
of theater
checks
in
out,
class. And
actually.
they taught us how to like project your voice and like be able to like do a monologue and like not take a breath. You have to let your breath out you have to control your breathing. I'm just proud I can do
Wow.
that again now because I was a smoker for so long and now I can actually like do that because 6 years
Yay.
ago I've been like the house.
So I'm gonna put this in the area of kick the can, the showdown with Rance McGrew.
So 52, 53.
Oh, I think it's better
Yeah.
than that.
You just had to go above me, Nick. You just
That's what she
had to go above
said.
69, okay?
I'm gonna stick with
I
69.
see where
Not
I
all of
see
us are
how
about
it
the
is.
69.
Why not?
I
just watched.
literally was like, okay, it's in the middle of the road, and also it's fitting for this episode, like it was for the parallel. It makes too much sense to me in my little pee-wee brain. My little
When she said Pee Wee brain, I go ah, I scream because it's the word of the day. Pee Wee brain. I don't know. You
I
guys
put it in the
decide.
20s.
What do you mean you
No.
guys decide? You already said 53.
53 is
Apparently-
way too high. This is much better than 53.
You just want to get this above
That's only like 42. I could easily get it
no,
down to
no,
40.
this is not better
There's
than
no
Perchance to Dream.
way. Nuh-uh. There's
No.
no way this episode is
They're
like
challenging
on
me,
par
Nick.
with the new exhibit, dude. No.
Unfortunately,
No.
I can't go that high either, so I'm sorry.
Oh
I
my
don't think it's in the 20s.
God.
But
Thank
I mean,
the
Jay, I'm
Lord.
still on board with you. I still think it's higher than.
Thank the
I'm just trying to make a
Lord.
middle ground.
Middle ground would be 69.
41.
Exactly. Thank you,
Not at
Triv.
this point. No, a
Oh,
middle
it's pretty
ground of like.
damn close.
Triv is a girl's
Bring it
girl. She
higher.
understands.
41.
I'm a girl's girl,
That
am
keeps the new exhibit.
Okay.
Well,
above
you're
it.
supportive
wait,
of me.
Well, yeah, duh.
42. 42.
No,
That keeps new exhibit above it. So
no,
Alex
we
is
are
happy.
not putting this
There's
above
no way
Perchance
in
to
hell
Dream.
this episode is top 50.
Okay, you want to know where it falls
it
with
is.
Paste and
I'll give it
um,
top 100, but like, nuh-uh.
Let me tell you where it was with Paste and IMDb. So in Paste, it was 132 because it had a stupid ending, according to them.
They're stupid.
And IMDb had it at 98 or 97. So basically the same
They're stupid too.
general layout as it was last week.
IMDb gave
Yeah, so, like-
Captain Marvel good ratings, okay?
So like 69 is better than both of those.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
This is
Yeah,
better than
but then,
69.
but then you had to put it underneath like the Prime Mover and Showdown with Rance
Yeah,
McGrew and
right.
Most Unusual
That
Camera. I
works
think we
out
should
for-
put this at 13.
No. Okay.
13, are you Taylor Swift?
Yes.
I have seen this episode once, and I never
Mhm.
need to watch it again.
You do though.
Mhm.
You just don't know it.
Preach.
No, I don't. And it's not because it's a bad movie. It just did nothing for me. Like I can 100% get on
I
board.
understand it's not a bad movie. It's not a movie though.
Oh, for fuck's
It's okay
sake!
to be wrong.
Okay, this is the most she's actually been like she's been expressing her opinion the most for these rankings.
Well, see,
Let
I know
her
that if
I
I
know.
just
Let her
hold
say
out
her
long
piece.
enough, she'll peace out.
Ah, fuck's sake.
Don't let them get to you.
No,
fall
absolutely
asleep.
not.
I mean, so you guys don't
Mm.
think this is like better than like Odyssey of Flight 33 or Mirror Image or What You Need or
No,
No.
absolutely not.
The Fugitive?
I
Those
would
are
watch
some of my
those
great Harrison
episodes
Ford movie.
over an Adam and Eve would make it sci-fi in the middle of a random ass planet with bushes and dirt.
And again, I reiterate, this is not a bad episode, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of good conversation that came out of it.
Mhm.
But I can't put it like I
Oh.
think 69 is a fair number for it.
Hell no, this is better than Long Distance Call. Isn't that the one with the fucking kid and the grandma?
Whereas long distance
Yes.
call.
Fuck that
Bill Mummy.
episode. I refuse to put it above
Where is long
or
56?
below.
But
Long
that's the way all this
56.
works. You've also got a world of difference in there. You've got a nice place to visit. You've
I
got
can't help that you
Mhm.
guys
what
put
you
a-
need.
The
I
Mind
can't
and the
help that
Matter
you
is a
guys
good
put Long
episode.
Distance
Mirror
Call in a
Image
long
is
damn
like a
place.
classic Twilight Zone
we
episode.
always run into this. There's always going to be episodes that feel like they don't fit, in that
Taking
specific
a
thing.
stand.
Well, good for you and your ass. They're not going to get it this time.
See, I think this episode's better than Valley of the Shadow. I really don't like Valley of the Shadow.
Was that the one where the
No.
guy goes into the town and gets his memory wiped? Like they've got like the 3D.
No, that's the
printer
one where he gets
thing?
caught. That's the one where he gets taken to the
witchcraft
town
book,
and no, long world.
That's the
Valley
one
of
with the
Shadows with, like-
inventions, right, in the town.
Yeah,
Right,
where
like the
Jacob,
3D
Yeah.
printer
Jacob
thing.
alluded to the gun was like the same size.
Yeah.
and-
Okay, but that's on y'all. I was not here for that ranking.
That's true.
But I'm here
Is
to
there
say
a-
that this episode deserves 69. And on behalf of Adam and Eve,
Oh, there's a 69.
I'm gonna keep it
You
going
may
to
be barking up the
69,
right
so
tree
help.
now.
Don't tempt me out here.
My
Adam or
vibrator
Eve?
agrees with that ranking.
I don't know, Jacob. I want to put it like I don't know. I'm not, as I'm
Kick the can.
numbering
Okay, at
this.
least make it like 55. I don't know. At least
Kick
have
the
some
can
kind of
with
like
kicking the ball.
weightiness to it, guys. Come on.
I,
Can't it be like
I'm
66?
not joking. I thought I was gonna be the only one that liked this episode. I didn't realize. I didn't know I was gonna have.
We
another
all
person to die
liked
on the
the
hill with it.
episode.
Right.
It's just some of us didn't really like the episode.
Okay,
There's a
here's-
huge difference.
Here's a question, and I think I probably know the answer, but I'm still curious.
Okay.
Alex said before that this one had a lot of similarities to 2, which I would agree. I think it very much does. Different context, but same basic idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I
but
know
this
that
episode didn't have Charles Bronson in it. So
it had Richard Basehart. He's about as
who the
hot
fuck is
as
Richard Basehart? I don't know who that is.
he
I
was.
didn't
He's the
even
guy
like
in the
2 that
Twilight.
much. I thought it was
did the
fine.
same- Thank
Nick had a hard on
God.
for Charles Bronson with his shirt.
That
off.
is true.
I mean,
So, which one
No
would you rather
judgment.
watch?
You
I'd
all have
rather
a
watch
man crush,
this.
Jacob.
See, on the next episode of the Twilight Zone, it's Adam and Steve.
Exactly.
Okay, Nick and Charles Bronson.
Hey now. Oh, bow. I don't
Hello.
know, like
How you doing?
2 did not have any kind of poignantness to the ending. It was just like
It just
They, like,
existed.
they were just like, "Fuck it, okay, I guess."
do you think
come
they
on."
ran into Adam and
walked
Eve
off.
and had a menage a trois? Like
I
it
hope
was just
so.
like
Charles Bronson would have shot him?
Well, it depends on which canon movie we're talking about. He also might have done other things.
what if it was
No, I
like an
think
earlier
Charles
version
Bronson
of
himself
Brokeback
just
Mountain
would've
with
shot
Lee
him.
Marvin and Charles Bronson?
Mhm.
That was our actors. Just look like they need to be
I don't
shot.
know. Like, at this point, like I don't know if we're gonna agree on number placement, so we have to agree on like a compromise. So
All right,
Jake,
so
I'm with
what-
you.
what
I
are
think number
our-
13 sounds good.
Jesus Christ.
You boys never learn.
Fuck's sake, man.
I don't know.
So you
Like-
like 2 better than this one, Shriv?
I did, yes.
I will give a little bit. I'll say 56.
I could work with that.
I think it should
still-
be like a lot lower, honestly. But I'll give a little. I'll say 56. I would not be terribly offended at 56.
What about 66?
What about? Never mind. I'll be mad.
Jake would be like, all right, we're going 42 at this point.
No.
No.
Oh, would you say 66? What about 36? See how this
What about
works?
16?
See, the thing is, like, if
Touche.
I
I'm
look at
surprised
if I-
y'all see this as a top 50 of the series. I'm like, I don't think it's
It's
that.
not.
I just
It's
think
a
the
top
ending's a
set the
banger.
bar
I
like
think the
that.
ending.
Like it's a good
I-
ending, but I'm like, I just didn't captivate me as much as
Yeah, I
it
would
did for
agree.
y'all. I don't know.
I
And
bet
I'm
if it
just
was about Eve and she met Adam and he was all
Oh,
like,
for
"Whoop,
fuck's
whoop, whoop,
sake!
whoop," they'd
No,
like it.
just
Maybe if they
shush.
kissed, I would have been more interested. Being like, okay, maybe they have chemistry.
Okay, you got to look forward
Was
to
there
the
any?
future. They went and boned a
No.
lot and like repopulated the Earth.
Yeah, but we didn't even see that.
It was
You
the
only
Right,
second
assume that's
exactly.
gonna
of
happen
shit.
because of the biblical story.
They
We
they
didn't
went
get to
around that
see
little
any
pass and just
There wasn't
immediately. Wow.
the second half was literally them together meeting, and then they have the apple, and then it cuts to Serling. What the fuck else are we supposed to assume?
Would you rather to
I don't
just
know if
cut
they
the
share
porn?
the apple, they cut it in half.
How about this apple, baby? I got a
Well,
baby.
not every episode.
Me
Not every
too.
episode has to have
Porn.
Robin the robot being an enforcer.
I don't need a robot. I
She's
just
telling
want
us
she
needed
chemistry.
porn.
Give me
Like,
something
I needed to see him
here.
kiss. I needed to see him bang. You guys are a bunch of damn
Goodness.
perverts. You don't
Oh,
appreciate
come
know,
on.
That is not what I meant, and you know that.
I want
my meet cute. I want my
Yeah.
meet cute situation.
You
Guys,
of all
But I get
people.
nothing.
guys,
I have no shame
I
about it, though,
I've
see. I don't hide it.
guys, I have the perfect way to boil this number down.
Are we
And it
doing
comes with the first
Thunderdome? Please tell me
No.
that we're doing Thunderdome.
What's
No, no,
Thunderdome?
no.
Already.
So battle to the death.
No, but
Oh God,
I have the perfect
Armed.
review to pinpoint where we need to put this episode.
What's your
And-
great compromise?
The review is I remember this from 1964. That's the big compromise. Or this other review.
How
Man
old
and
were you
Woman.
in 1964?
Well, I mean, he's 81
Hey,
years old, so
Thank you. I'm 89 now. Thank you very much.
89?
Or
Okay.
here's another one. Another one that'll compromise. Where's the love? Or great ending. Or first episode after Kennedy shot. I mean, this is perfect stuff. Or talk about the wrong stuff.
Yeah, where is the love, Nick? That
don't
was
know,
exactly
in
my point like
It's
a minute
Adam
and a half
and
ago.
Eve.
Where is the love?
I feel
I mean,
it's like
This
pre-installed.
man she hit this man with a rock.
She did. She
And then
felt
all of a
bad
sudden
about
we're
it.
It's-
supposed to expect, oh, they're
it's in
going to
the-
share an
Gave him an
apple and now
apple.
they love each other.
And he
It's
was
in
gabbing
the-
as hell. He didn't
I
give her
need
time
some
to
more
say anything.
substance,
See,
man.
she did like
It's
a
in
dude.
the-
She's a dude.
It's in the
That's why they
intergalactic
got
god of
along.
Davida.
Like I didn't need the
We
first
didn't
half
have to
of him
go.
corresponding
dudes
to the
fuck
same
up.
two people during a nuclear war.
Dudes fuck up, and it's easy
Okay.
for us to get back. We
I
get in
just
a
want it.
fight.
Maybe if the episode started with him eating shit in the dirt,
we could
you know,
throw
we see
a
that.
rock
Do
at
you know how
somebody's
much
head
more-
and just be like, "Sorry, bro."
there's
That'd
so
be
much more
cool.
story.
Women got to be like, we got to have like a 3-week period of me being mad at you.
Hey Nick, I'm
and
just gonna say this: of all the episodes that have knocked down Drag
Yeah,
Out
but
on,
you
I did
deserve it,
not
though.
expect it to be
you got
this
to rub
one.
my back.
I didn't
At least
either
3
actually because
times
I
over
didn't
the course
expect
of
anyone
6
but me to like this episode.
Because
so-
women know their worth.
Yeah.
That's
This
exactly
might
why.
go down as the most off the rails insane episode I've ever had to edit. 'Cause
Yeah.
no. I don't know. I mean, it is like 1:30 in the morning here, which I know is getting late for everyone. But
Not for Alex.
No,
well, no,
the
Alex
night's
is
just begun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set the world
no,
on
it's
fire.
just begun. We talk about 1408.
Oh God.
Um,
Oh shit. It's 15 different endings.
It only has like 2 or 3. Okay, so are we gonna put this underneath long distance call? Are you fine with that, Alex? I know
Underneath.
Jacob-
No, I said 56.
No. Well,
That would put it
I know
above it.
I know you put it way lower, Alex, but I mean,
Right under
how
2.
do you feel? I mean,
Triv already committed to it.
Uh,
That's 3. We win.
Well, here's the thing. I was
No.
looking
New
at
number
it.
Get out of here.
56
No,
is-
don't manipulate. No. Triv, what do you Okay,
This is
Triv.
Honestly,
What
a
about
world of
democracy?
difference. Okay,
we got
okay,
it. No,
okay, shut-
no. Ignore
No,
Jacob
no,
and
I
Nick.
understand.
Pretend they
I-
don't exist. We go. You need a
Alex
is
one-on-one
a
threat to
conversation.
democracy.
Oh,
I
fuck's
pretended
sake.
everyone
Wake
didn't
up.
exist.
Jesus
No.
Christ.
Let me talk to Triv. You be quiet. You hush. This is just between me and her. Damn it.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
No,
Triv.
no, we're
Triv. We
open
got it.
family
Okay.
here.
What you got?
Okay.
What
This
you
is
got?
our huddle, right? Okay.
Okay.
So
what-
listen.
So they're wanting 56.
Yes.
We were wanting it lower.
Yes.
Should we
Like,
try to
She
fight
said
for it
she
to
was
be a little
wanting
lower?
69.
Okay, so here's where I come in with this. and I'm willing to sort of compromise on this, but A World of
Mhm.
Difference and A Nice Place to Visit are vastly superior to this episode, in my opinion.
Yes,
But
I
wasn't
agree.
it? But wasn't
I
this
do
place a
agree.
nice place to visit? Like it's much better. It was nice, and they visited. And I got
Yeah,
to
and
live
this
there.
isn't a
You
nice
don't live
place
there,
for
you
the
visited.
ranking
You
either, which
visited
is why
and
It's
we're
also a
going
world.
lower.
It's also
So-
like the best version of World of Difference. I mean, they don't spike the
No, it's not.
Spike. They don't spike the same
Are you
volume.
guys
Okay,
drunk? Did
you're
you guys
just
drink the
delusional.
Kool-Aid on this shit? Like
No.
I
I like the episode, and I said that
know
from the
you
beginning.
do, and
so
that's awesome. I'm happy for you.
I'm
that's
just
why we're
not
putting it
seeing
number
what
one.
I'm
You
really
got the
not seeing
Bible?
what you're putting
What
down.
you're
It's Jesus.
seeing. Yeah, great. We also have Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. And that was
Jesus.
a ton better than this. Ah, fuck.
I can do like 63.
No, look, 56
Underneath the
was
mirror
the
has two
compromise.
faces.
How are you gonna?
No,
See,
it
that's
was
just like a woman.
not.
You come
You
in with a
boys had the
compromise, you're nice.
compromise.
You're
No,
just
no.
Try and do a
making
nice
You
thing.
boys said
Try and do a
56.
nice thing.
No.
Try and do a
You
nice thing.
boys decided on 56
But see, that's
because
what
you
they do.
wanted it at fucking
wait, first of
30.
all,
If we were
first
a
of all-
lot lower. But we
No.
try and do
First
a
of all, I
compromise. and what happens?
compromise,
You
like-
stay right here for a
Mm.
while, and then all of a sudden your compromise becomes the low bar, and they're like, "Well, let's compromise from your."
Okay, but
compromise."
I was
That's
at
not how it
69,
works.
bro. I
Okay,
went
you
up to
know what?
63.
I am sorry
more do you
for
want
making
from me?
things worse. I suck.
First of all, I
my-
compromised when we
I
went
went to 23.
No,
full
Triv, we gotta
No.
stand our
foul language
all the way to
mode.
56.
We gotta
I feel as if
stand
I've
our
gone further.
ground.
That was never an
We're gonna
option to
regret
take
it
it at
later.
26. For God's sake.
No.
I said 23.
Okay,
No.
how about we put it at 60? It's between 56, between 63.
No. I fucking hate long distance calls.
Oh, fuck.
Fucking hate it.
Whatever.
That's
So you
terrible.
had a vendetta against
I do.
Perchance to Dream. Now you have a vendetta
leaving
against Long
Perchance to
No,
Distance
Dream
Call.
ignore him, Triv. Ignore. Okay.
I don't feel
No,
like
I'm
fighting
just
that battle
saying.
tonight.
Triv, do we like 60? Triv. You and
Are
me.
you trying to girl boss us, man?
Or do we think we should be a little lower?
I would still say 63. What you
Assert
need
your
is just a
authority.
better one.
You're in
Okay,
charge
but
of
like,
this
do you
shit.
really? Okay, do you
Who runs
really
Am I,
think
though?
that the Nan
Jacob,
Adams
am I, though?
episode,
Shit.
that the Nan Adams, I feel like the Nan Adams episode is on par with this one.
Well, which one is that's Hitchhiker,
Assert your
right?
authority.
No, wait, was Nan Adams what you need?
Can't you
'Cause she
mute
ran
it?
over
No,
the
that
No,
was
guy.
the
but
one
yeah,
where
Adams
the
was a
guy,
hitchhiker.
yeah.
Now, what
Oh,
you
okay,
need is
I
where
messed up the
Jacob
names.
lost his shoes.
Okay, that was on me. That was
Yeah.
on
No,
me for
no,
remembering
that's
the name.
okay. That's
But you,
okay.
but like what you need
Jacob
had
lost
a
his shoes.
similar.
What
God
you
damn
need.
it.
Okay, okay, but what you need had a similar godlike
Just
situation,
mute
right?
Alex, and
I
this
mean,
Where
to
it
is
was
some
like,
extent,
oh,
like
I can make things happen.
in the very like,
You know,
I mean, it's not exactly the same thing.
no, it's not the same thing, for sure. But this one had actual Adam and Eve.
You know what?
I can go with
I-
63.
I'm going. I'd say 63.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
63
What?
because there's
I
no
had
way that
so
I
much
can
more
place
faith in
this
you.
episode
You
over.
know what? Fuck
like,
you.
No,
I-
Mirror Image is just like Mirror Image is such a good, compelling, like
Hey,
classic episode of
Triv.
Twilight Zone.
What?
I can't put this
You
above
remember when
that
I told
one.
you like this list would get hard as soon as we got
That's
farther
what
in the
she
podcast?
said.
Nah.
Yeah. We finally reached that point to where we finally reached that point to where I my conclusion has come to fruition.
Well, I would say so. See, the
Well,
thing
it's
is,
just
y'all
inevitable.
turned my ambivalence into like rock solid something or another. Like,
Triv and her
Screw y'all.
ambivalence
Things.
spraying all over the place.
that's right. It's like my coughs.
You're what?
Okay, so
coughs.
seriously, like it's getting late. We gotta come to a compromise here.
56. That was a compromise.
No, it
From
was
23?
not. Whatever.
You were like in the 80s originally.
No fucking.
were
I
in
said
69.
69. Remember the bit.
It's a good bit.
Thank you.
You're normally all
So she
about the
said
bit.
she said 69 was a good bit.
Yeah. Jake,
I'm
you
usually
like
about
69.
I do like 69, but I really fucking hate long distance call.
Is this like is this like
This is such a weird bias on this one episode. Like,
Well, it's like Perchance
you
to
need
Dream.
therapy.
Definitely. But I refuse it. Fuck you, BetterHelp.
Well, BetterHelp
don't go through
isn't-
BetterHelp. No.
I'm a man. I'll figure it out myself.
Okay. It's
Just
like,
hit something with a hammer.
Yeah.
if you really want to go up to like 60, I'm gonna be like,
That's what you said a second ago. You can't be
I'm-
like 60,
No, wait,
60,
wait,
60.
no, I said
All right.
63.
How about
I said
this?
63.
You
I would
keep like
be.
And then
I
presenting
would.
it like you're gonna say something different. You're like, okay. All right.
Look,
It's
if
like me
these
just
guys
going,
really
"All
want
right, guys."
60
If you really just have to,
and we want to film an
56.
episode next week, then I'll compromise to 60. So I'm not even gonna be here
fine,
next week.
Fine.
I'm at 60.
How about 56?
Shut the fuck up. Do you take 60 or nothing?
How about 65 then? If you're gonna be like that.
I mean, if we're going that direction, then 56.
Can we just
See, I'm not
Come
petty.
on.
I didn't go
Okay.
the other direction.
We're not trying to go mind over matter here. It's fucking Adam and
Oh
Eve.
my god.
It's Adam and Eve.
This is the
Jacob.
longest discussion
Yes,
on the
60.
ranking list.
60. You don't want to get 60. You know what?
Fine.
It's almost
I'm gonna
like it sounds
change
like
mine. I'm gonna change it.
Yeah, like you are.
it sounds like
42.
sex.
No.
Close enough. just choose 60, please.
All right,
Trying
58.
Please.
to steamroll us, Nick.
Did you really say 58?
Yes.
I'm
Well,
gonna leave this fucking call. I can't. Come on.
I'm gonna leave it in your
I
guys'
just-
hands because in the end, I'd
Nick,
put it
Don't
higher.
do that.
I don't know. We're gonna be discussing this for like 8 hours, and I know Triv doesn't want to go into work late, so
Two
Now-
of
now
us
you're
say
putting it on-
60, and then you
I-
two are saying like 56, 58. What? I mean,
I didn't say
I don't know,
58.
59.
I said 56.
I'm talking about Nick saying 58. Thank you very much. So, like, okay, maybe we can do 59.
All right, to both of you.
Three
World
more.
of Difference and A Nice Place to Visit. Long distance
What are
call
your-
aside, what would you rather watch?
Which is what? A world of difference.
A World of Difference or A Nice Place to Visit?
Mm-hmm. What are
Which
your
one was a
thoughts?
nice place to visit? That's where he was like on the TV show.
Oh,
no,
Which
Yeah.
makes it not as memorable, so maybe we should put this episode there. If you're
Which
not going to
one?
go with 60.
No, I always get it mixed up with another.
no. A
one.
nice place to visit is where the guy gets shot and he finds out he's in hell. The gangster guy.
Oh yeah, I like the other one better.
And A World of Difference is the one where the guy like takes the place of his actor, like the person he's acting.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. I was thinking that was
Yeah.
a nice place to
So
visit.
that's
what it is.
that's A World of Difference and then A
I
Nice
like that
Place.
one
to
better.
Mhm. So, like,
What's the what? Why
So
are-
the
why
question
am I
is,
doing this?
this one or either one of those two.
so we can have it around 58 to 60, potentially.
I feel
And
as
you
if
already
they're
said you didn't like A
purposely
Nice
not
Place to
going-
Visit as much as the
56
other
is
devil episode.
around that.
Fuck off. Just compromise between 58 and
I think-
60.
I think
You
it's
already
become
said
like a
it. You
hard-headed
didn't even
thing. She
remember A Nice
refuses
Place
to
to
do
Visit.
56.
If you can say, I really like this episode, I'm going
did
to
really like
remember this episode,
I
then
liked
you
it
would
more
put it
than
at
56.
58 above the episode you had to be reminded about, goddammit. Are we gonna
So,
choose
okay,
58?
So you think, all right, fine.
Me
You
think,
make me
okay,
believe you think
uh-huh.
that long distance
Sure.
call is a better episode than this.
I was more entertained by Long Distance Call than this episode.
Or you
If
not?
I'm going to be completely honest, I remember the premise of that episode. I didn't remember shit going into this one. And I still liked both. But like, you know how my rankings are based on like memorability. And I remember Long Distance Call. I
So you-
remember
well,
A World
I
of
remember
Difference.
it too. 'cause
I also
struggle
struggle to remember A
House of
Nice
the
Place to
Dead, and that's
Visit.
a fucking terrible movie. The Fanatic, awful movie. Remember that. I remember them because I was traumatized, and I feel as if you had some deep trauma towards this movie, and you're not wanting to talk about it, or this episode. And I understand. Long distance call.
You're
is
just
very
projecting your
traumatizing,
own
and you're
traumas
not
onto me
wanting to
when I
talk
am
about it and
trying to
face
talk
that trauma.
through to you. You need to face this fear away from the long distance call and away from Perchance a
I'm
Dream
facing it. I wanna
and
put it
away
right
from
there,
5
Nick.
characters in search of an exit with your goddamn trash can. Just choose 58. Thank you.
Do I need to like put a coin and flip it? I don't have
Probably.
a coin, but
I don't have a coin. Nick, you're the host of this wonderful
I feel as
episode,
if you two are
wonderful
gonna have to
podcast you
split
invite
this
us onto, and that you've
between
continued to invite me
56
to
and
as a
58.
guest.
how about 57?
Let's see that That doesn't work.
Are you trying? Are you
Well,
trying
okay,
to drive me
okay.
crazy? I'm gonna
All
actually
jo-
lose
all
my
jokes
mind.
aside, all jokes aside, like, is this literally going to come down to like having to be at 56? Like, is there like no wiggle room at all?
I said between 58 and 60.
I'm very diplomatic.
I
here.
was fine with that because originally Triv and I were like, okay, we can wait.
Wait,
Both
you
of us
said
went
what?
up to 60. Triv and I went up to 60, and then Nick, you said 58, and then Jake said he was 56 because he didn't want long distance call there. So then I was like, okay, so let's discuss 50 at least through like 57 to 60 to see what we thought of those episodes. And then he is so insistent on long distance call not being where it is because he's traumatized by the episode and then projecting it
Okay.
onto me that he still is
Here's
insistent
what-
on having this
But
episode as
she's insistent on
56.
58. I
But
would like to
I'm
point that
insistent
out.
on 58, which is what
I've turned into
originally
like
you
the
said,
president of this
Nick,
podcast.
because I'm
where-
willing to go up to go in the middle.
See,
I don't
see,
like
I
being
turned
accused
into
of
the
being
president's
only one
podcast
that's
where I'm going to
insistent
piss
on
off
something.
somebody by making a decision. I don't know if I can
You're
do
not
that.
gonna you're not gonna piss off
You're
anybody.
the host of
like,
this podcast. You can literally do
here's-
whatever the fuck you want.
Okay,
Here's the
so
thing.
50. We'll
Nick,
do it
do
at
you like?
56
Did
and a
you
half.
like long distance call better than this episode?
Just choose a round number, Nick.
I'm just asking.
A
It's a
round-
question. It's an honest question.
a round number?
I'll come back to you. Triv, did you like long distance call better than this episode?
Yes.
I feel as if there's a bias here.
Fuck's
No,
sake.
there's
No,
not.
and I have been straight with you guys since the start. This episode, I can say that it's middle of the road, but
I mean,
that's
like,
all
Well,
I'm gonna
this
give.
have been what would happen if we had talked Perchance a Dream and Jacob had been on for that one. I think that would have boiled down to like
We
this
would have
episode.
only had 10 episodes to talk
I
through.
know that's
though.
true. That's true. See, I'm at the point where like it's either gonna go above long distance call or right below long distance call.
What are your thoughts on long distance call, Nick?
I'm ambivalent on long distance call because I forget long distance call half the time. So
See,
I hate
and
it.
yet you and
They killed that little kid, and it's just like done off screen. Not that I wanted to see the kid die, but
he's like an iron lung.
it was ridiculous. The grandmother, I don't know.
oh, you're
See,
gonna
I
love
feel
night
like
call then.
It went from
You're
suck to
gonna love
blood.
Yeah.
night call when that comes around. I know that for damn sure.
I don't know. You
The
guys
thing is,
decide.
we're gonna like look at this in a
Oh
week, and
my
we're gonna forget
God.
about this being here, or it's gonna become another one that's
Because
like
the
a
list
rock
is so
in
long,
somebody's
we're gonna forget this is where this is on
yes.
the list.
Can we just do 58?
All right. So what are our options again? Jake, you're at 56.
He's at 56.
You're at 58 or 60.
Nick is either above or below 56. I don't know what the fuck that number is. I originally was like at 60, but then because I was trying to be in the middle, I could do 58.
I originally was at 42, so I'd like
Right.
to.
Well, and we
show that
have
I
We're
am
not
given as
talking
well.
about we're not talking about that far in the past.
that, and straight up, you would go there.
I don't care about your screams. We're trying to be rational here. See,
You know
I
what?
would put this episode lower. But
I would
I
too,
am
but
trying to
that's-
meet you in the middle.
But there
You go
comes
lower,
that point.
just go to
Here's
56.
okay. So I am forever going to be someone that tries to find compromise because that is my nature.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
not
appreciate
to not to go too far one way or the other, but I'm gonna say this, and I say this because my ass is really fucking tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say go 57. That's in the middle of everything, and I know it doesn't get it below where you want, Jake, but it's a compromise for everybody, and it's a lot higher than Alex and I would have gone. It's
Mhm.
a little. It's sort of in the middle of the freaking pack. That's what I got.
I like to point out that the Eves in this four-way conversation are trying to meet in the middle of you Adams. So what's it gonna be?
We'll see. Two people have said 57 now, so I will go along with that diplomatic way. I will say 57, even though I feel as if it's not fair. I will not acknowledge it.
That's okay. You
I
don't
will say
have to.
57.
I do
And
not
next week you
acknowledge its
probably won't
existence.
remember it.
I will. I will remember this forever, because there will perhaps be another one that I will be better prepared to argue over.
And I
All
look
right,
forward to
Nick.
the argument.
Nick, are we going on number 57?
Yes, because I'm tired and that's
Thank
perfect.
the Lord.
And
I don't mean
I think
I don't
Alex
mean
just
to-
wanted to move
God.
me from 56. That's all it was. I mean, not be 56.
And I am
Big
sorry
care
for
which way.
pulling the cough card. I didn't mean
Oh
to.
my
That's
God.
not my intent. But
I'll be honest with you.
It's okay.
I love having sometimes if this were like during the day and we had more time, I think this is like a great argument because it shows that these episodes can have like two different points of view
oh, absolutely.
on people.
The
The
right
thing
Yeah,
And
it
is,
can
just
be
like-
above
For my-
56 or below 56. But
here's
Exactly.
regardless,
thing-
you're somewhere on the spectrum of 56.
But here's the thing for me, like honestly, truthfully, I am ambivalent about
Stop distracting her, Jacob. I
am
turn off
ambivalent.
the
I
screen. Trip.
genuinely am ambivalent about this episode. It was fine. It just didn't do anything for me, one way or the other. But forced into a
Mhm.
decision, yeah. Anyway,
Hey, Nick.
Yes, sir.
We got it in the 50s.
oh fuck you.
Plug off. Ugh, men.
Jacob. Yes, we did.
Men trip. I don't.
That's
Why
right.
are men like this trip?
Oh,
I don't get it.
Wow. Wow.
I was.
You know what?
Anyways.
We were really trying to be there for them, and for what? We just
Yeah.
get bro fisted.
know what, but
I
they-
should have stood my ground with 69 trip. I regret it.
No, but here's the thing. In the grand
isn't
scheme,
fair.
they're the ones that had to pull their dicks out to try and show what men they were, and they're the ones that lost in this case.
Yeah, they did get
They
kind of
picked a
cocky about long
completely
distance
forgettable.
calls. So that's
They
fair
They
enough.
picked
camera.
a completely forgettable.
How'd you know that was
episode.
out?
Yeah.
Well, I am psychic.
All right. All right.
Got any
Okay.
pants?
Hmm.
Space pants. All right. Okay. So with that said, as Trip coughs up
Are you
along.
okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
With
Oh my
that said,
God.
new number 57, probe 7 over and out. Number 1, Eye of Beholder. Number 129 is of course Trouble with Templeton. It is
Number 106 is a piano
not that sick.
in. Fuck you.
house.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Shit. I don't know if I should wait.
Just go. He's gonna be like that for a
Alright.
Thank you
while.
so much for watching the Fifth Dimension podcast, where you saw
56.
both men and women trying to meet in the middle, which
Which
is what the
never
Twilight
works. Hey,
Zone
wait.
should be about.
I know.
And
You know what?
Before we
And
do
I
that,
will tell you, I
before-
will
oh yeah,
tell
and
you
then our
that-
next episode.
Well, and I will tell
Yeah.
you this. Eve probably found herself another nice lady and went off and had actual good times as compared to being talked at for a solid
That's
hour.
what's up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Eve deserves better.
She does.
Yeah, she's a queen.
It's all right.
Fucking
Adam
Richard
had all them
Basehart.
bananas on that tree.
Right.
Hey, you know what? If that
Um,
gets you off, then more
Adam
power
can
to you.
enjoy all the bananas he damn wants, but Eve, she doesn't need bananas.
No.
She needs more apples.
She needs cucumbers. Anyways, the next
That world's
episode
fucked.
the next
Literally.
episode is right. So the next episode is our 130th episode. It's
Oh my
season
God.
5, episode 10. The 7th is made up of phantoms. I don't know if this episode is well regarded. I don't think it is, as far as I know. But once again, we'll see next week when that happens. But it is directed by Alan Crossland Jr., written by Rod Serling. Stars Ron Foster, Randy Boone, and Warren Oates. So we'll look forward to that. Okay. It's been a long discussion. We're all ready to go back into the Twilight Zone for the time being. Before we do that, Jacob, your video you finally posted, like you said you would.
You just had to
And
make the
it-
guy go first. I see how it is.
Oh, last
You had to
time
go
I
second
said
earlier with the
last time I
rankings.
said Alex. Well, no, last time I said Alex. You want to go? Why don't God?
Nick, you're catching on. You can never be right.
True. That's true.
Hmm.
No,
When
I
have
try
I,
to mix
ever
it
done
up.
anything like that, you bitch?
You're a cartoon.
It's okay. He's putting it on me because I'm not a regular
Hey.
host, Triv. It's okay. I'll be the
I
target.
may not know my flowers.
I got
but
more
I know a bitch
animation
when
in
I
my
see
little
one.
pinky than you do.
All
in
right,
your whole
Jacob. What
body.
video? What video do you have
Yeah.
to promote today?
Not today. Came out Saturday. This is my first video game convention video I put out. That's what it was. It's just me talking about that and showing some video that someone commented on and said, "I thought you were going to show more video of the convention." Well, I didn't, but I talked about it a lot.
Damn you, Jacob. Damn you.
But if you show a lot of
Uh,
video, like B-roll footage like that, and these kind of videos, I just want to point out, if you show a lot of B-roll video like that, people come on and they're like, You show too much video of this and that, and not enough of you talking about it. So I really just want to comment or respond to every comment. Fuck you. I love this video. Fuck you. I hated it. Fuck you. Fuck you with love.
See, the life
That's
lessons for today are you can't please everybody.
Yep.
But
And sometimes life is just unfair. But
But
you
in
go
the
along
end,
with it anyway.
Like today.
Like
but
today.
in the end, Jacob can say "fuck you," and I can say I farted and it was liquid.
Oh.
So, according to Arlo Astor on YouTube. What do I have? I don't have anything. Alex, you have content. Where's that content located?
So you don't have anything, is what you're saying.
Oh no, I do. I just wanted to do that swerve.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Alex Carson. I'll return fully to it at some point. But in the meantime, I'm just here and
love you, though.
trying to advocate for the proper rankings that should be in place for these episodes. But sometimes I'm not on them all the time. I didn't even start fully coming on these episodes more until season 4. So, there's only so much
Well,
I
we
can
gotta
do.
worry when you come on those episodes, you know.
Yeah. But now I'm just really fucking tired. So, life's great.
See, you thought it was only gonna be 20 minutes long. There you go.
I only joked about it because Triv just like went off and I was like, okay, queen. And then after that, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't have anything to say.
Yeah. Oh,
I
we had
mean,
things to say.
less.
See, the one thing you can learn about a podcast, especially when you have good camaraderie together, is you always find things to say. That's what I think. But
Aw,
anyways,
thanks, Mr. Rogers.
I try. Hi, neighbor. Okay. Anyways, Triv, where's your content at? What's it located?
I don't know how close I want to be to you after hearing "Hi Neighbor." That's kind of creepy, man.
It's
What?
okay.
You
You
don't
can
know
break
your
the
content.
silence in between.
No, just the way he said "Hi Neighbor." It's like, just watch Daddy, or just watch Long Legs, and yeah. Anyway, I've been in the middle of Restreviganza. I just did Vincent Price sells art to Sears.
That was really weird.
It's a very strange video, but it was fun to riff on. Up next, we're talking the Disney story of menstruation, which is quite funny as well. After that, there's more kind of short PS or short form
The
video
what?
riffs. The story of menstruation. It was a
Talking
Disney.
red?
Yeah, no.
Hagen turning red?
No, it's actually called the story of menstruation. It's from the 40s.
Oh, they actually had that?
Yeah,
Good for them.
yeah.
Yeah, you know that thing that women experience like once a month,
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
really shitty.
He has quite
But
a
then
few
men
daughters.
wouldn't understand because they don't go
Oh,
through
no,
it.
no. We understand.
Mhm. Do you?
I live in a house full of women. I
He
understand.
does actually, yeah.
Yeah, but you yourself will never experience it personally, and therefore you won't fully understand.
Hey, men
it
get kicked in the
sucks.
We have
balls,
an
so we
experience,
understand
too.
pain. All right.
No
So, Triv, you have
comment.
anything? So,
No,
anything
that's
else?
That's kind of all I
Alright.
got. So
So for myself, I got videos coming. Strange Darling, I think I'm gonna do a review on, and of course Borderlands, unfortunately, is gonna be out, and Alien Romulus will probably have. No, I gotta wait. That's gonna be after this review or after this video. So I'll have videos. I don't know exactly what, but Snowpiercer. Definitely look for Snowpiercer. So,
yay.
anyways, Alex, well, I'm sure we'll see you in a couple of weeks. I know you won't be on next week. But we always appreciate you coming on as always. And yeah, there you go. So, anyways, for myself, Triv, Jacob, and Alex, we'll see you guys next time at the Twilight Zone. Peace out, motherfucker.
Bye.
Well, okay, but that was after the Twilight Zone came out, though. But I guess maybe that trope was
Adam and
seen-
Eve? I think that was before the Twilight Zone.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah.
I'm talking about the term that was coined was like after the series ended. But I guess maybe
This
there were
is-
so many science fiction stories that were like approaching Adam and Eve, but with sci-fi, and then this guy was like, okay, we're just gonna categorize these and then we can criticize them at the same time. Because like this is a little much, maybe.